For the final time in this 2021 season, the Falmouth Commodores are on the road, and it comes with this team still in it in the playoff race. Good evening, everybody. David Adar alongside Matt Levine from Spillane Field here in Wareham as the Falmouth Commodores set to start a home-and-home series against the Gatemen as the team dwindles down its regular season and hopes to have an opportunity in the postseason come Friday. Matt, let's jump right into it tonight. The Commodores mathematically not eliminated yet. The team needs to win out over its remaining 3 games, and they need Katuitt to lose out. So a lot riding against this team, but there is still a hope that the Commodores can find themselves in it come Friday.
Well, it's an uphill battle after losing 2 straight to Katuitt, the team you're in the playoff race with. And that gives them 2 more wins. It gives you 2 more losses, so they make up a lot more ground. Now they're ahead by 3 games. Like you said, Commodores need to win out. Katuitt needs to lose out. So not only do you have to control your own part of it by winning all 3 games, but Katuitt also has to help you out and lose 3 in a row. And to ask them to do that after winning 5 straight now, and they put up over 50 runs in that span, their offense has been insane over the last couple of days. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, but what you have to go out and do is just enjoy the rest of the time that you have on the field with the guys you're playing with and the coaching staff and everything like that, because this has just gone so quickly and it's down to the end now over the next 3 days.
Tonight's game 34 for the Commodores, and they come in with a 14-17-2 record. Falmouth had an opportunity to get back to 500 in the mod win percentage going back 48 hours ago when they opened that home-and-home series against Katuitt, and that was a big chance for Falmouth to make a statement and either stay in second place or just stay neck and neck with the Kettleers. But instead, Matt, over that 2-game series, Katuitt putting up unreal numbers against this Commodores team, scoring 28 total runs over the 2 games that this team played, and combining over those 2 games for 30 total hits.
I mean, their offense just exploded over the last couple of days, and they've scored over 50 runs in their 5-game winning streak, but one of those games they only put up 2 runs. So cut it down to 4 games, it's probably still over 50 runs. It's insane what they're doing right now, and it's not like the pitching walked a ton of guys. They didn't really make any mistakes. They just threw strikes, and they got hit, and that happens sometimes. But when it happens in back-to-back days where you give up 16 runs and then 12 runs, it's just it's really tough to come back from that. But you have to understand that baseball is played every day. Things like that will happen. You will give up hits. You're allowed to give up hits. And for Katuitt right now, it's just been consecutive hits. That's the main problem for their opponents over the last couple of days.
So the Falmouth offense has been good also over these last couple of games. The Commodores scored 6 runs on Saturday against the Kettleers, and then yesterday up at Lowell Park, Commodores are able to score 9 runs, so 15 total runs over the last 2 games played. And normally that would win ball games, but like you said, the pitching was just getting hit so hard and so tough. And even though Falmouth is still in it, it's looking like obviously probably going to be a big uphill battle, but nonetheless, the Commodores pitching staff's going to want to try and end this season on a high note and try and limit the runs against the opposition as much as they can.
And they're going up against Wareham for the 4th time this year. They haven't been here at Spillane Field since the end of June, so it's been a while. Just like I said before, you got to just enjoy the next couple of days, regardless of what happens, because this has just gone so quick, and by the time you know it, they'll be back at their hometowns. They'll be back with their college teams, and the summer's just gone like that. So you have 3 more games to just enjoy yourself, enjoy your teammates, enjoy your coaches, enjoy the Cape League, because this is just an incredible experience for everybody around it. And show off in front of the scouts 3 more games that you have, and just put together quality pitches, quality at-bats on both sides of the ball, and play clean D. Just, I think over the next 3 days, regardless of what happens, I think that's the message to the team, is just continue to play good baseball and just enjoy yourself.
And we talked after the game yesterday with manager Jeff Trundy, and we asked him, yes, there is still a chance, but how does your team approach these remaining 3 games with your back so much up against the wall and you not being able to control everything? And he had a good message. He said, despite the fact that things look down, still want to play good baseball, still want to try and end the season on a high note and give these guys the best opportunity that they can get.
Hey, listen, as a Mets fan, this is exactly what I remember from a couple of years ago when Dom Smith hit a walk-off in game 162. The Mets had already been eliminated, but he hit a walk-off in that game, and the way that that team reacted to that was just unbelievable. And I remember Gary Cohen's call saying that the Mets have ended the season on an incredible note, and that's what this team is looking to do right now, whether they make the postseason or not, an uphill battle, obviously, but if they're able to just end the season on an incredible note, on a high note, on a positive note even, it's going to be much more enjoyable once the summer ends. Obviously, all good things come to an end. Everything comes to an end, but it's going to be upsetting regardless if they make it or not when something ends. But to end it on a high note would just be so much better for everybody.
So Falmouth comes into tonight with a 2-0-1 record on the summer against the Wareham Gatemen. They're 1-0-1 here at Spillane Field. But like Matt said, haven't played here since June 28th, so it's been a while. But this Wareham team is the only Cape team that the Commodores have not lost to yet on the season. And we're going to step aside from Spillane Field for the playing of our national anthem. And when we come back, we'll have the pitching matchups between Falmouth and Wareham.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
Welcome back into Spillane Field for game number 34 on the season for the Falmouth Commodores as they're on the road for the final time in this 2021 season as they take on the Wareham Gatemen for the fourth time this year, and it opens up a home-and-home with these two teams as the Gatemen will come up to the Gov tomorrow, and then the Commodores will close out the regular season with Bourne on Wednesday. Tyler Tuthill takes the mound tonight for the Commodores, making his fourth start of the season for this Falmouth team. He comes in with a 1-1 record on the year, picked up his first loss a week ago at Chatham, a game where he pitched 5 innings, only gave up 3 runs, 2 of them were earned. He just didn't have the run support behind him, but he's a guy who's pitched really well for the Commodores this summer.
Well, he's pitched well in college at App State. He's pitched well here so far, and he had one of the best starts of the season earlier in the year against Orleans. 6-0, or rather he went 6 innings and didn't give up any runs. It was a 1-0 win for Falmouth in that game. He only gave up 3 base runners, 2 hits, and a walk. If he can replicate anything like that, this team's going to be in a spot to win. He pitched well the last time out against the Anglers, but like you mentioned, he just didn't have the run support. Commodores did not score for him, and he only gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, and he had 6 strikeouts through 5 innings. So he's a guy that can give them length and be efficient at the same time.
So we'll see what he's able to deal up tonight for the Commodores as he makes his 8th appearance on the mound, but his 4th start for this Falmouth team. And opposing him will be Adam Major out of South Dakota State, who makes his 6th start of the year. All 6 of his appearances have now been starts for this Wareham team. And another guy who's been one of the best in the CCBL on this summer season, coming in with a 2-0 record over 23 2/3 innings and a .38 ERA.
Well, that 0.38 ERA leads the entire league this summer. He's pitched so well over the last 4 starts, even in general over the last 5 starts that he's had all summer. He's gone at least 5 innings in the last 4, though, and 5 2/3 is his longest so far. He hasn't given up a run in 2 outings, so that's 10 innings, and it's just been lights out for him. The most hits he's given up in an outing is 6. Every other outing, 2 hits. That's it. And when he does that, he'll be efficient almost every night.
So Major making his 3rd start at home on this 2021 season, and he'll be seeing the Commodores for the first time this year. Matt, a guy who's this good and Falmouth still in a position to make the playoffs, what do the Commodores have to do at the plate to attack him and end up getting themselves ahead to the point where they can come out of tonight with a positive result?
Well, he has 28 strikeouts to 23 2/3 innings, so he's not too overpowering. He does usually strike out 1 per inning. That's essentially a little bit more than that, essentially how he's going. So if guys get deep into counts and just be able to hit with 2 strikes, they'll be successful tonight. But we've seen them over the last couple of days get into deep counts and then go down on strikes, and that can be consecutive as well. Different guys in a row striking out. So if they can avoid that tonight, just continue to put the ball in play, and they've seen good things happen over the last 2 days. Their offense has been good against Katuitt over the last 2 days. They've scored a combined 15 runs and 23 hits in that span. So just carrying that over and being successful at the plate by just putting the ball in play and avoiding the strikeout.
So we'll see what this Commodores team can deal up today on the road for the final time this summer. It all started here at Spillane Field way back on July 21st. That was the first road game of the season for the Falmouth Commodores. And tonight, they end it at Spillane Field once again. Matt, taking a moment away from the game, it's just incredible that the road game started here and they end here on this 2021 season, and that we've played 18 away from the Gov, and that tonight's going to be game 34 on the season.
I mean, this thing has just flown by. It's been unbelievable, but to have it start here and then end here is kind of bookending in a way, and then having the opening night be at home and closing the season out with 2 home games is also bookending. So it's all coming full circle as we go down to the wire here.
So just including tonight, 3 games remaining in this regular season for the Falmouth Commodores. Here tonight, then at the Gov tomorrow night to take on Wareham once again, and then on Wednesday against Bourne to close out the regular season. And if this Commodores team wants to see postseason baseball, going to have to win all of the remaining games and going to hope that Katuitt drops all of its remaining games as well. And Katuitt tonight playing up at Bourne. That game in the top of the 4th, and the Braves on top with a 2-1 lead. So that Kettleers offense, which coming into tonight had scored 55 runs over the last 5 games, has been slowed down a bit tonight, but we'll be sure to keep an eye on that game and see how it progresses, because if Katuitt ends up coming out on top, the Commodores will be done for the regular season and will have their season end come Wednesday. So the Gatemen take the field here at Spillane Field just a few minutes late. First pitch scheduled for 6:45, but already 6:50 here in Wareham. A beautiful evening here at Spillane Field. Few clouds over the field, but mostly blue skies above us, 76 degrees, and it's been quite the sunny day that we've had as of late. And we're hoping that this good weather continues for the remaining 2 games as well. Some chance for some rain on Wednesday, so we'll see how things play out. But tonight, a great night for baseball here at Spillane Field as the Gatemen take the field, and opposing them will be the Falmouth Commodores, who come in with a 14-17 15-2 record on the season, and Braden Taylor will lead things off and play at third. Just the second game this season that Taylor is leading off for the Commodores. Casey Harford bats behind him and plays at short. Jace Borfin, the three-hitter, plays out in right. Chris Armstrong does tonight's cleanup duties and plays at first. Anthony Hall out in left field bats fifth. Michael Curiali bats sixth and is tonight's designated hitter. Mike Handel, the 7-hitter, plays out in center field. Taylor Smith doing tonight's catching, the 8-hitter. And Mike Bacchetti, playing in his second game for the Commodores, will round out this Falmouth lineup, who comes into tonight with a 2-0-1 record against Wareham on the season. So Adam Major out of South Dakota State takes the mound for his 6th start of the year. And he just finished throwing his final warm-up pitch. Braden Taylor will step in to lead things off for this Commodores team as he steps in from the left side of the batter's box, takes a look at his bat, and a deep breath here. Takes a couple taps of home plate, and we're set for first pitch here in Wareham as the first pitch comes in, a ball outside at 6:52 here at Spillane Field. And we are underway for the final road game of the season. Here's the 1-0 now from Major, down in the dirt, and count goes to 2-0 here for Taylor. Defensively for the Gatemen tonight, Owen Diodati in left, Cade Fergus in center, and Tres Gonzalez out in right field. Here comes the 2-0 now. Taken for a called strike at the belt. The count goes to 2-1. In the infield, Cameron James plays at third. Jim Jarvis is at short. Tommy Troy at second, and Mike Nell is at first. And Anthony Frechette is behind the plate, and the 2-1 is fouled off behind home plate. Now 2-2 here on Braden Taylor. Taylor comes into tonight with a .274 batting average for the Commodores this summer. Last night was the first game that he played in the field since July 20th, and he's back at third once again tonight. 2-2 comes home, and it's popped up softly behind home plate. It'll find its way out of the stands, and some kids take a run for that ball as the count remains 2-2 here on Braden Taylor, and appears that he may have broken his bat, so he's going to go over towards the dugout and get a new bat before stepping back up to the plate. Taylor last night had a base hit in the loss at Cotuit, going 1 for 6 in that ball game. Game that Falmouth ended up dropping 12-9 at Lowell Park. And he digs back in here from the left side. Major looks in, shakes off a sign. And now he's got it. 2-2 comes home, and it's a breaking ball down low, but Taylor swings through it for the first out of this inning, and Adam Major has his 29th strikeout on the year. So one gone here for Casey Harford, who plays at short tonight for the Commodores. Taylor saying something to both him and Borfin as he comes back into the dugout. And the first pitch that Harford sees, he grounds over to short. Jim Jarvis with the easy field and fire across the diamond for the second out of this inning.
2 quick outs for Falmouth. One was a deep count for Braden Taylor that he went down on strikes, and then 1 swing and 1 ground out easily off the bat of Casey Harford. 2 very different at-bats, but both result in an out.
And as Jace Borfin digs in, he calls time. Adam Major was all set to bring home the first pitch. Borfin not ready yet. Now he is, as the first pitch of this at-bat is taken at the knees for a called strike on Jace Borfin. Well, Borfin's been the best hitter for the Commodores here at Spillane Field. 4 for 7 over the 2 games played so far with a couple of RBIs, and the 0-1 comes home. He thought about going around, ends up laying off, but a called strike by the home plate umpire. And now the count 0-2, and Major working quickly as he comes home with the pitch. Line right over our head and foul here at Spillane Field. And the count remains 0-2 on Jace Borfin. Here comes the 0-2 again. This one comes in upstairs, and it's now 1-2 here on Borfin. So Borfin 4 for 7 with a couple of RBIs here at Spillane Field, hitting .289 on the season for Falmouth. Been one of the best hitters all summer long that the Commodores have had, and the 1-2 down low, and the count goes to 2-2 as Borfin has brought the count even. This is a Commodores team that hasn't hit too well against Wareham this summer, just hitting 195 against this team, as the 2-2 is ripped down the first base side, just fair, and it's fielded by Mike Nell. He loses it initially, but then able to collect it and flip it to Adam Frazier to get the final out of this inning. So a 1-2-3 inning worked by Major here in the first, and the Gatemen will come to bat when we come back from Spillane Field. We go to the bottom of the first from Spillane Field in a scoreless ball game between the Falmouth Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen. Tyler Tuthill takes the mound for Falmouth in his fourth start of the season out of Appalachian State University. Comes in with a 1-1 record on the year, 5.31 ERA over 22 innings of work. And he last started a week ago in a 3-1 loss at Chatham. And Tres Gonzalez, Jim Jarvis, and Tommy Troy will come up this half inning against Tuthill. We'll give you the rest of the lineup in just a moment as Gonzalez digs in out of Georgia Tech and takes ball one low and outside. So we mentioned those three guys. Keep on going through the lineup. Diodati, the cleanup man. Jack Brannigan, the 5-hitter. Cameron James batting 6th. Mike Nell, the 7-hitter. Anthony Frechette, the 8-hitter. And Cade Fergus will round out this lineup as the 1-0, a breaking ball that misses inside. And now it's 2-0 here on Tres Gonzalez. Tuthill, left-handed pitcher, stands at 6'3", and he comes home with the pitch, and it's grounded over to the right side for Mike Pachetti, who makes his second outing of the ball game, or second start of the season at second base for the Commodores, and has no problem handling the first ball hit his way as an easy throw over to first for the first out of this inning.
Doesn't get more routine than that for Bichetti at second base, and he got a long hop from the lip of the grass as well, which helped him.
So one gone, and that'll bring up Jim Jarvis, playing in his 35th game out of Alabama. Him and Owen Diodati, both from Bama and both playing in their 35th games tonight, as the first pitch, a ball from Tyler Tuthill, and Jarvis is ahead. Jarvis hitting .289 on the season for this Gatemen team, as the 1-0 now from Tuthill. That loopy curveball that just misses inside, and the count now 2-0 here on Jarvis. Jarvis hitting the ball well as of late. 7 for his last 13 over the last 3 games that he's played, as the 2-0 comes high and away. Now 3-0 here on the Alabama hitter. And this is a Gatemen team that picked up a win last night against Bourne. Prior to that, had a 4-game losing skid, but they were able to snap that last night as the 3-0 right over the heart of the plate. And that's the first strike of this at bat. Now 3-1 here on Jarvis. Tuthill, with that little shimmy that he does when he comes set on the mound, holds the ball about belt high, couple deep breaths, and the 3-1 comes inside as Jarvis ends up ducking out of the way from that ball. And on 5 pitches, we have our first base runner of the ball game as Jarvis stands at first. So walks, not something that Tuthill has given up too much this season, just the 8th walk that he's issued over 22 1/3 innings. But that'll bring up Tommy Troy now, who's our first right-handed hitter for Wareham tonight. Troy playing at second for this Gatemen team. And the first pitch grounded over to third. Nice scoop by Braden Taylor. Goes to second for 1. Now on to first, and that's an inning-ending double play. 5-4-3 to end the inning and face the minimum for Tyler Tuthill. Really nice stop by Taylor at third. Good throw over to second and a strong throw to first to end the inning. So we'll move to the second, scoreless between the Commodores and the Gatemen.
From the batting cages and out of the bullpen areas. Please throw rubbish into the barrels and recycle the aluminum cans in special bins located around the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, state law prohibits the use of any tobacco product on school property. Thanks for keeping us in compliance. Serving southeastern Massachusetts and Rhode Island, Office Technology Group has been the area source for advanced digital multifunctional copiers since 2009. Call Office Technology Group at 508-858-5825.
After the Commodores went down in order in the first, they come back to bat here in the second, looking for their first base runner of the ball game in a scoreless game against the Wareham Gatemen here from Spillane Field. David Adar alongside Matt Levine. Thanks for spending some of your Monday evening with us for our final road game of this 2021 season. Chris Armstrong will lead things off against Adam Major, and the first pitch from Major down low for ball 1 here on Armstrong. Armstrong hitting .321 coming into tonight. The top hitter in this Commodores lineup as the 1-0 brought home just outside. Now 2-0 here on Chris Armstrong. Armstrong riding a 5-game hitting streak and coming off a 3-for-4 outing yesterday as he pops one up to the left side, tracking foul, and it'll end up finding its way out of the fence here at Spillane Field as the count now 2-1 on Armstrong. Adam Major working at a really fast pace on the mound as he brings home the 2-1 now. And it's a ball. Frechette couldn't hold on to it as he had it in and out of his glove. But the count goes to 3-1 on Armstrong. And, Matt, how about this pace so far by Major?
He's going about 6 to 8 seconds every time he catches the ball to then throwing the next pitch.
And as we say that, here's the 3-1, grounded over to the right side. Charging in is Tommy Troy, and he ends up losing it as he fielded the ball. Had to come in hard. It was a slow chopper his way, and just couldn't clean it up, get it cleanly into his glove. And so the Commodores have their first base run of the ball game as Chris Armstrong stands at first.
There was a little shift put on by the defense, so Troy was shaded over to that right side. It was hit right at him, just a slow chopper. And he had to come in, but I think once he thought he had the ball, he turned his head towards first before he was able to field it. So it's an E4 on him and his second error of the season.
So Chris Armstrong leads off of first, and here's Anthony Hall, who takes ball 1 here from Major. So Armstrong reaching on an error by Tommy Troy. And this infield here at Spillane Field, we've talked about it before, but it's more of a gray gravel-like substance as the 1-0, a breaking ball that Hall swings hard through, loses his helmet, and the count now 1-1. Gotten so used to seeing Anthony Hall lose his helmet. Got to the point yesterday where he swung through so many pitches that the home plate umpire at Katuitt yesterday asked him to get a new helmet that he wouldn't end up losing, and the 1-1, he pops up to the left side and out of play, foul. And not even when he swings, also when he runs around the base paths, especially if he's hustling, trying to go for extra bases or something, that helmet tends to come off. And so we're used to seeing more of his actual head than the helmet. Here's the 1-2 now from Major. Drops slowly to the right side and foul as it goes just past the Gatemen dugout, and the count remains 1-2. Hall, another one of these Commodores, asking for time as he steps into the box. Just trying to buy a little bit of time because Major just working so quickly, and he steps off the rubber, throws over to first, and it ends up getting away from the first baseman, Mike Nell. Armstrong is going to go down to second, round second, and it's hustling into third. The throw comes in now, and sliding in feet first safely is Chris Armstrong. Well, Mike Nell at first is looking right into the sun, and he doesn't have any sunglasses on, and I'm not sure if he just lost that ball or what. But Chris Armstrong has gone all the way from from home to third from errors by this Wareham team.
He still has his sunglasses sitting on the brim of his hat. He could not see that ball. Now he puts them on, but he could not see that ball thrown by Major.
Here comes the 1-2. Hall just able to get a piece of it to stay alive, and the count remains 1-2. Likely going to be an error, I would assume. They haven't given an official score on that yet. An error on somebody. He's just waiting on whether that's going to be on Major or on Nell, the first baseman. Here comes the 1-2 from Major. Down in the dirt. Good stop by the catcher, Anthony Frechette, at the plate. Here's the 2-2, and it's a called strike at the knees. And that's our first out of the inning as Adam Major has his second strikeout of the night.
Another guy getting deep in a count, but just doesn't go his way tonight. Braden Taylor the same way. Anthony Hall fouling off again, a couple of pitches. Did that last night. Several fouls with 2 strikes, just protecting the plate, and that's what they've done a really good job of over the last couple of days.
That brings up Michael Curiali, who takes strike 1 from Adam Major. And just to go back to Chris Armstrong advancing from first to third, going to say that was an E3, so an error on Mike Nell over at first. Chris Armstrong stands off of third with just 1 gone in the inning. And the 0-1 down in the dirt. Another good stop by Frechette as he brings his glove down to stop it. And the count goes to 1-1. So Commodores have been really productive at the plate as of late. Yesterday, 9 runs on 13 hits. And on Saturday, 6 runs on 10 hits. We'll see what Curiali can draw up here as the 0-1 is on the outside part of the plate. And the count, or excuse me, the 1-1, and now the count 1-2. Curiali yesterday went 3 for 4 at Cotuit with 3 RBIs and also launched his 3rd home run of the season, hitting .248 coming into tonight. And the 1-2 from Major comes upstairs about helmet level of Michael Curiali. And the count now 2-2. Chris Armstrong leads off of third here in a scoreless ball game in the top of the second. And the 2-2, low and away. A check swing from Curiali. They peel down to first, but say he did not go around. So count runs full here for the UCLA Bruin. So Curiali, we've talked about how well he's been swinging the bat as of late. He's 9 for his last 18 over the last 4 games that he's played in. And the average has been brought back up to .248. As the payoff pitch comes home, and it's down low, but he swings through it for the second out of this inning. So Chris Armstrong got to third with no outs in the inning, and he still stands there, but now with 2 gone here in the top of the second.
Well, if anybody's going to bring him home, it's Mike Handel. He's gotten a hit in every game so far for the Commodores that he's played this summer since getting here just a few days ago. A couple of RBIs last night. He's been really productive offensively.
Already 4 RBIs on the season for the 7-hitter Mike Handel. And the first pitch home from Major is taken just below the knees for a called ball as the count goes to 1-0. Handel with at least 1 hit in every game that he's played so far, tonight being his 5th game out of Fairfield University. Major comes out, holds the ball belt high, and the 1-0 down low and inside. Now 2-0 here on Handel. So Handel, like I said, playing in his 5th game tonight, sporting a .389 average. Been another one of these really solid Commodore hitters, and albeit a small sample size. 2-0, misses upstairs on a breaking ball that stayed up and now 3-0 here to handle. Well, if the Commodores can find a way to bring home Chris Armstrong, that would be just the second run allowed this season by Adam Major, albeit it wouldn't be earned, but nonetheless still would be an impressive mark. And the 3-0 pitch is right in over the heart of the plate, now 3-1 here on handle. Here's the 3-1, and this one misses just below the knees, and so a 5-pitch walk for Mike Handel, who trots down to first, and the Commodores have runners on the corner, still with 2 gone here in the top of the second. So Handel stands at first, Chris Armstrong stands at third, and looking over towards first, Mike Nell now has the shades on, and just moments ago was holding the glove in front of him, just trying to get a good look at the pitcher after he committed an error earlier in this inning. Probably a smart move to put those shades on.
Well, he couldn't see that pickoff attempt throw from Major the first time he did it.
Here's Taylor Smith, the 8-hitter, who takes ball 1 from Adam Major low and away, as Frechette has to dive to his right to get that ball. Now 1-0 here on the Texas A&M hitter. Playing tonight as a catcher for the Commodores. Seen him as a catcher, a designated hitter, and a first baseman this season. 1-0 misses just outside, and now 2-0 here, and most of the pitches that Adam Major has thrown of late have been balls to this Commodores team. 4 of the 5 pitches to Mike Handel were balls, and here to Taylor Smith, starting out with a 2-0 count on the right-handed hitter. Here's the 2-0, and this one again misses outside, now 3-0 to Taylor Smith. And is this an opportunity where you let him swing, or do you just watch the pitch come in?
Well, since Handel walked on 5 pitches, so the count finished at 4-1, 4 balls to 1 strike. Now 3 straight here. You do not swing.
And sure enough, this one misses inside as Taylor Smith twirls around in the right-handed hitter box to get away from that ball. And so back-to-back walks here by Adam Major, and the bases are loaded here with the 9-hitter Mike Bacchetti coming up. And before we can progress any further, the pitching coach, George Caralejo, going to come talk out with his pitcher after allowing a leadoff base runner in Chris Armstrong, albeit he reached on an error by Tommy Troy. Then picked up back-to-back strikeouts, but now back-to-back walks. Something that this guy doesn't do too often, just 3 walks coming into tonight.
Well, he works quickly, so when he can't get into a groove and he's still going at that pace, it's just going to be consecutive pitches out of the zone. But when he's locked in and going at that pace, it's deadly. So he's just got to find that again, where he had back-to-back strikeouts, just pounding the zone, hitting the corners, and it comes in a big spot now. 2 outs and the bases loaded.
So Chris Armstrong stands at third. At second is Mike Handel, and at first is Taylor Smith, as Mike Bacchetti steps up to the plate for just his 4th at-bat of the season. He's 0 for 3 so far at the plate, but has put balls in play every time he stepped up, and the first pitch he sees fouls right past us here on the third base side. That ball not too far away from the little cage we're in, but that's strike 1 here on Bacchetti. Ball also sailed over the head of Brett Becker, the third base coach for this Commodores team. Major shakes off a couple pitches, now has it. Here comes the 0-1, and Bacchetti swings through it. Appeared to be a breaking ball, but nonetheless, count now 0-2 as Major has gotten out ahead. An opportunity to strike out pick up every out this half inning via the strikeout. As he's ahead 0-2, looks over towards third, and now comes home from the stretch. Again, fouled over to the left side, just over the Commodores dugout, and in the direction of some of the fans here at Spillane Field. Count remains 0-2 on Mike Bacchetti. Bacchetti out of Fairfield University. Tonight just his 2nd game for the Commodores this summer. His only other appearance coming against Harwich back on Wednesday. And the 0-2, a breaking ball that just misses outside. And the count now 1-2 here on the 5'8" hitter. Major gets the ball back, and that quick pace that he's working at. Looks over towards third, and here comes the 1-2. This one right in at the belt, and that's a called third strike on Mike Bacchetti as Adam Major leaves the bases loaded here in the top of the second, and the Commodores still scoreless as we go to the bottom half of the inning from Spillane Field. Tyler Tuthill takes the mound for his second inning of work here against the Wareham Gatemen in a scoreless ball game. As we go to the bottom of the second, face the minimum in the in the bottom half of the first, and so he'll face 4, 5, and 6 here in the second inning. Owen Diodati, the left fielder, will lead things off for this Wareham team. Diodati out of the University of Alabama, playing in his 35th game for the Gatemen here tonight, and the first pitch of the inning is chopped foul in the direction of the Gatemen dugout. And that's strike one. Matt, it's got to be so tough for Tyler Tuthill to take the mound this half inning after the Commodores had an opportunity in the top of the second to jump out ahead. But despite that, they left the bases loaded and come back here in the bottom half of the inning, still scoreless as the 0-1, a breaking ball, now 0-2.
Well, it's the same mindset of how this game started, 0-0 after the top of the first is scoreless. You just come back and pitch the same way you did in that previous inning. It's not like they're coming out here with down runs, so it's just a similar mentality.
0-2 grounded in the direction of Mike Bicchetti at second. Takes a little bit of a high hop on him, but able to handle it cleanly and throw over to first for the first out of this inning. So Bicchetti with a couple of ground outs so far. He's been involved in every one of the outs that have been recorded so far. 2 ground outs his way, and then was in the midst of the inning-ending double play back in the first. And so with 1 gone, that'll bring up Jack Brannigan, the designated hitter tonight for Wareham, and the first pitch from Tyler Tuthill, that curveball we're so used to, in for a called strike. So Tuthill so far has only allowed 1 base runner. That was Jim Jarvis, and that was via a walk. As the 0-1 now from the left-hander, a late decision by Tom Ryberg, the home plate umpire, but ends up calling it a strike. Ball that was on the outside part of the plate. Brannigan hitting .292 for the Gatemen on the season. Comes into tonight riding a 4-game hitting streak and just able to stay alive as he fouls the 0-2 into the backstop, and the count remains 0-2. So far have seen all the outs recorded here for the Commodores via ground outs. And we were saying back in the bottom of the first about the field here. It's a gray infield, almost charcoal-like as the 0-2 misses low and in, now 1-2. But Tom Holliday had some strong words about this field. He's the manager of the Chatham Anglers, and they played here 6 days ago. And Holliday said that it's different playing on a field like this, but it actually plays really well, and he liked it as the count goes to 2-2. And so far, the Commodores are handling it well.
I think the only problem with it would be trying to slide on it if you're going at a fast pace when you're running.
2-2, and it's a breaking ball that Brannigan was swinging early on, and so he goes down as Tyler Tuthill has his first strikeout of the night.
In the top half of this inning, when Chris Armstrong went from first to third on the error committed by the first baseman, Nell, he slid into third base, feet first, and just kind of sat there in some pain right away. It's got to be just hard, and it's rocky and gravel-like.
2 gone for Cameron Janes, who softly bloops one into shallow right field. And Mike Bicchetti a couple steps back and is able to make the grab to end this inning. So 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Tuthill, who has still faced the minimum through 2. And will move to the third with the Commodores coming back to bat in a scoreless ball game here against the Wareham Gatemen. 1-2-3 set to come up for the Commodores here as we move to the third inning in a scoreless ball game against the Wareham Gatemen. David Adar alongside Matt Levine with you here from Spillane Field. Final road game of the summer for this Falmouth Commodores team. And after tonight, just 2 games remaining in the season. At home tomorrow night against Wareham, and then on the road, back at home against Bourne on Wednesday. As Braden Taylor will lead things off here in the inning. Adam Azier still on the mound, and the first pitch home is high and away for ball 1 on Taylor. Taylor went down swinging back in the first. Guy who doesn't lead off too often for the Commodores. Tonight just his second game in the leadoff spot for Falmouth, and he takes the 1-0 just below the knees. Now 2-0 here to the TCU hitter. And Major with the 2-0 low and inside. Now 3-0 here to Taylor. So the Commodores back in the second had the bases loaded and couldn't bring anybody home as Mike Bichetti went down looking to end the inning. Here's the 3-0 from Adam Azier. This one right at the belt. And that's the first strike of the at-bat. Now 3-1 here to Braden Taylor. Commodores still looking for that first base hit of the ball game. As the 3-1 in at the knees, Taylor started to turn towards first, but ends up staying in the box. Says something towards Tom Ryberg, the home plate umpire. And he'll dig back in now for the 3-2 pitch. Major shakes off a couple of signs and now has it. 3-2, hit over on the ground to the right side. Tommy Troy with his glove down, able to field it and fire over to first in time for the first out of this inning.
That's a much easier play for Troy to make instead of that slow chopper that Armstrong hit that he committed the error on. Braden Taylor hit that ball really hard off the barrel of his bat, and just an easy ground ball that just stayed on the ground the whole time. Didn't take too many hops, right into the glove of Troy at second.
6 of the 7 outs that have been recorded so far in this ball game between both sides have come from ground balls. So seeing a lot of stuff on the ground early here from Spillane Field. And with one gone, Casey Harford will dig in now and take strike 1 right about at the knees here from Adam Azier. Harford grounded out to short back in the first. As the 0-1 now from the right-hander is on the outside part of the plate. Now 0-2 to Casey Harford. Harford out of the University of Tennessee Martin, hitting .240 at the plate. And on 3 strikes, he goes down as the 0-2 is in right about at the belt. And so on 3 pitches, Harford set down, and that's the second out of this inning.
Already 5 strikeouts tonight for Major. And I said earlier, guys should get into deeper counts, but it's just been not really the most competitive at-bats at the plate.
First pitch to Jace Borfin is a breaking ball that stays up, and count goes to 1-0 here on the Arkansas Razorback. Most of the field here is shaded. Right field still has just about all the sun on it, and center field has just a little bit in the shallow part of center field as the 0-1 fouled off. Now 1-1 here on Jace Borfin. And the 1-1 pitch comes home from Major. This one taken outside. Now 2-1 here to Borfin. So the field getting a little dark here. Just before 7:30 as the 2-1 is on the outside part of the plate, taken for a called strike. And the count goes to 2-2 here on Jace Borfin. This top part of the lineup so far has been handled pretty easily by the right-hander out of South Dakota State. And on the 2-2, a breaking ball down low that Borfin swings through for the third out of this inning. So Adam Azier, another 1-2-3 inning, his second of the night. And we move to the bottom of the third as the Gatemen will come back to bat in a scoreless ball game from Spillane Field.
The law firm of Lang, Forrest and Bullard, providing families and businesses in the greater New Bedford community with legal services for 40 years.
Tyler Tuthill has faced the minimum through 2 innings, and he takes the mound here in the bottom of the third in a scoreless ball game against the Wareham Gatemen. Falmouth 2-0-1 against Wareham this summer. The only Cape team that these Commodores have not lost to so far this summer. And he'll face off against 7, 8, and 9 as Mike Nell out of UMass Dartmouth will lead off the inning for Wareham. And the first pitch from Tuthill hit high in the air into left center field. Going back is Mike Handel right in front of the wall. He makes the grab for the first out of this inning. That ball was just a couple feet away from being the first home run of the year for Mike Nell, but instead it's the first out of the inning.
That's right in the center of where the football field would be if there's no baseball fence in the outfield. Right in between, probably about the 50-yard line of where the uprights are, beyond the center field wall and then down the third base line. That was probably the deepest part of this ballpark.
Anthony Frechette digs in with one gone and takes a called strike here from Tyler Tuthill. You mentioned the football field here. That was the other thing Tom Holliday mentioned when the Anglers played here last week. He said it's like playing on a junior high football field as the 0-1 misses low, now 1-1 here on Anthony Frechette. This is the only field that has field goal posts around it. There's one just beyond the wall in right center field, and then there's one actually in the field of play along the left field foul line as the 1-1 is blooped into shallow right field, and it's going to fall in front of Jace Borfin. And the Gatemen have their first base hit of the ballgame. That's also the first base hit by either team tonight. And so Anthony Frechette stands on first with his 7th hit of the summer. That'll bring up Cade Fergus, the 9-hitter here for Wareham. Fergus hitting .250 on the summer for this Gatemen team as Anthony Frechette leads off of first. Frechette does not have a stolen bag this summer, and the first pitch from Tuthill, low and inside, and it ends up getting away from Taylor Smith, is trotting down towards second is Anthony Frechette, and he gets there easily on a wild pitch. So the count now 1-0 here on Cade Fergus. And Matt, just going back to talking about the football field, the Gov used to be a football field as well, but this is the first season that it's completely a baseball field and just a baseball field.
No uprights at Gov Fuller Field.
Here's the 1-0 from Tuthill. This one skied into deep left field. Going back is Anthony Hall. He's turning a couple times. He's looking at the wall. He leaps, and it's gone. The Gatemen strike first here in the bottom of the third as they jump ahead with a 2-0 lead, courtesy of Cade Fergus, who hits his 2nd home run of the season, his 3rd and 4th RBIs as well. And the Gatemen jump out to a 2-0 lead here against Tyler Tuthill.
The fly out from Nell just missed being a home run, but Fergus hit that more into left field, so had to go a shorter way for it to clear the fence, and he got a towering fly ball off of his bat. Anthony Hall almost tracked it, but just leaped and could not make the catch. His arm not long enough to reach over the fence that far.
Ball wasn't too far out of the yard. I don't even think it landed in the grandstand beyond the left field fence. As we go back to the top of the lineup for Tres Gonzalez, who takes strike one at the belt. A little bit of a gap between that grandstand and left field and the fence, but that ball just managed to find that small area and just barely get out of the park here at Spillane Field. As the 0-1, a breaking ball that misses, and now 1-1 here on Tres Gonzalez. So coming into the inning, Tuthill had faced the minimum, and he had done so again after Mike Nell popped out to start the inning. But with 8 and 9 up, each of them picked up base hits, and the Gatemen now with 2 hits on 2 runs tonight. Count sits at 1-2 here on Tres Gonzalez, who's riding a 13-game hitting streak, and he chops the 1-2 foul over towards the Gatemen dugout. Gonzalez, one of the best hitters in the CCBL, a .339 batting average, which is 2nd in the league. Last game that he didn't have a hit in was July 17th at Bourne. Here's the 1-2 from Tuthill. This one down in the dirt, bounces in just before home plate, and the count goes to 2-2. So despite the fact that the Gatemen have a 12-18-5 record on the summer, some very capable hitters in this lineup. As the 2-2 now from Tuthill is cut on and missed, and Tyler Tuthill has his second strikeout of the night, and that's the second out here in the bottom of the third.
Tuthill likes the breaking ball to strike out hitters. That time he went with the fastball, and I think Gonzalez just a little bit late on it, couldn't catch up to it. Might have been thinking about that curveball in his head while he swung.
So 2 gone here in the bottom of the third, and that'll bring up the 2-hitter Jim Jarvis. He digs in from the left side for a lefty-on-lefty matchup as Tuthill comes home with the first pitch of the at-bat, high and away for ball 1 here on Jarvis. Jarvis walked back in the first and then was part of the inning-ending double play from Tommy Troy. Tuthill shakes off a pitch, and here's the 1-0 from the left-hander, breaking ball that again misses up and away, and it's now 2-0 here on Jarvis. Jarvis this summer hitting .289 with 7 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs for the Gatemen. One of the guys who's been here since day one for this team as the 3-0 comes inside on him. Or check that, the 2-0 comes inside, now 3-0 here on Jarvis. Tuthill tonight, just 1 walk allowed. That was to this exact same hitter back in the first. In danger of doing so again here is the 3-0 from the left-hander right over the heart of the plate. And it's now 3-1 here on Jarvis. Tuthill with a deep breath, and the left-hander comes home, and this one grounded over to the right side for Mike Pacchetti. On a couple hops, able to field it and throw over to Chris Armstrong at first to end the inning. But Wareham strikes first here at Spillane Field, courtesy of a 2-run shot from Cade Fergus, who goes deep for his second home run of the season. And we'll move to the fourth with the Gatemen on top 2-0 here from Spillane Field.
Move to the fourth inning here at Spillane Field. Matt Levine alongside my broadcast partner David Hadar. 2-0 Wareham after a 2-run shot from Cade Fergus in the bottom of the third. It'll be 4, 5, and 6-2 up in the inning as the first pitch to Chris Armstrong is a fastball. He rips it to the first baseman, Nell, and it's right at him. Nell didn't even leap, just kind of raised his arm up and caught it for the first out of the inning. 1 pitch and 1 out for Adam Major on the mound.
First baseman to first baseman on that line out there by Chris Armstrong. Hard hit ball that, like you said, Nell didn't even have to jump up, just had to get his glove up in time, and he's able to do so for the first out of this inning.
Here's Anthony Hall, the 5-hitter, with 1 away in the top of the fourth. Major out of the windup. The first pitch to Hall. Crushed into left center field. Going back to left fielder Diodati. And the center fielder Fergus is there to make a diving catch in the left center field gap, almost diving into the fence. That's a beautiful catch, and the crowd here standing up and applauding that one. Cade Fergus with one of the best defensive plays we've seen all summer.
And after that ball was caught, Adam Major pointing out in the direction of his center fielder, who made, like you said, one of the best catches we've seen this summer. I mean, not only trying to find that ball, but also avoid going head-on into the fence, and he's able to do so for a couple of quick outs.
First pitch to Michael Curiali, a breaking ball low and away for a ball. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Now 3 pitches in the inning for Major, and the 1-0 to Curiali. Hard fastball low in the zone and misses for a ball. It's now 2-0. Curiali struck out swinging his last time up. Last night had a 3-hit game for Falmouth, just his 3rd 3-hit game of the summer. And the 2-0 pitch. Hit in the air into center field. This one right at Fergus. Much easier play as he moves back a couple of steps and makes the catch. 5 pitches in the inning for a 1-2-3, top of the fourth for Adam Major. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 2-0 Wareham.
Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, including new majors in sport and recreational management, graphic design, marketing, and computer science. Online at www.currycollege.edu.
Bottom of the 4th, 2-0 Wareham after a 5-pitch top of the 4th inning, a 1-2-3 inning for Adam Major on the mound. Has now retired 7 in a row on the hill for the Gatemen. And we go into the bottom of the 4th just like that with Tuthill back on the mound to face 3, 4, and 5 in the order as Tommy Troy stands in from the right side. Tuthill out of the windup. First pitch to Troy on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1. Troy grounded into an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play back in the 1st inning. That ended that 1st. And the 0-1 hit on a line into right center field. Handle goes into the gap. He can't make the play, and it's just by him on a couple of hops as he gets it in quickly to Mike Bacchetti, his teammate at Fairfield, the cutoff man, and gets it into the shortstop, Casey Harford, to limit that to just a single. Really good play for Handel to recognize he probably wasn't going to make the catch and just kind of go behind the ball to then get it in quickly into the infield.
Well, when Troy reached first, took a really big turn and was probably about a third of the way to third base before he finally decided to stop and hold up at first, because it was a little bit of an interesting route that Handel took to get to that ball. Was trying to decide whether or not to try and dive and get the out or just play it off the hop. He plays it off the hop and is able to limit it to a single.
First pitch to Diodati, a breaking ball for a strike, and Tuthill ahead again for the 2nd straight hitter, 0-1. Troy off first with the 3rd hit of the ball game for the Gatemen as they lead 2-0 in the bottom of the 4th. 0-1 to Diodati. Hard fastball ripped on a line into right field. That gets down, and it'll go all the way to the wall. Borfin picks it up, and being stopped at third base is Tommy Troy, and stopping at second with a no-out double is Owen Diodati. Runners on second and third, nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. A couple of pitches have been ripped here in the inning to right center and right field.
Well, 2nd time through the order for this Gatemen team, and they're seeing Tuthill much better than they did their 1st time through. Troy grounded into an inning-ending double play his 1st time up. This time picks up a nice single to center. And then Diodati, who grounded out to Bacchetti back in the 2nd, picks up a hard hit ball to right field and a double this time around. So runners on 2nd and 3rd here, nobody out for Jack Brannigan.
First pitch to Brannigan, a breaking ball up in the zone for a strike. And it's 0-1. It's Diodati's 5th double of the season. Does have a lot of power in that bat. He leads off 2nd, and Troy leads off 1st. And Brannigan behind in the count 0-1. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball down in the dirt, and he swung and missed. Good block by Taylor Smith behind the plate. And now it's 0-2. Brannigan struck out swinging his 1st time up back in the 2nd. 3rd baseman out of Notre Dame. He's the DH tonight. Tuthill out of the stretch with his back turned to the base runners. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball down in the dirt again. And Taylor Smith puts the tag on Brannigan as he walks back towards the dugout for the first out in the bottom of the fourth.
Well, we talk about it every time Tuthill is on the mound for the Commodores, but that curveball that he has just goes north to south, so it has so much drop to it, and it fooled Brannigan on the second pitch of that at-bat, and so for Tuthill, you might as well go back to it again. That's what he does on the third pitch, and he's able to pick up the strikeout.
First pitch to Cameron James on a fastball in the inside corner for a strike. James, the 6th hitter in the order, is 0 for 1 tonight. He lined out to Bichetti at second base his first time up. Runners on second and third, 1 away. And the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball down low for a ball. Now it's 1-1. But Tuthill's gotten ahead on all 4 hitters in the inning so far, 0-1. Cameron James out of Mississippi State. And the 1-1 chopped over to the left side. That'll get a run in as Hartford, the shortstop, fields it and makes the running throw. But it's an RBI ground out as Tommy Troy comes in to score. And Cameron James gets another RBI. It's now 3-0 Gatemen here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Diodati moves up to third base.
Yeah, that's the 8th RBI this summer for Cameron James. And, I mean, he does his job at the plate there, and that's to just put the ball in play and have the ability to bring home the run. And so he gets out, but a run comes home, and the Gatemen extend that lead.
2 away. Now Mike Nell takes a first pitch fastball up high. Runner on third in Owen Diodati. Count 1-0 on Nell, who flied out to center his first time up. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss down in the zone, and now it's 1-1 with 2 away.
By the way, worth mentioning with the Gatemen extending the lead out to 3-0 now. Katuitt currently losing 8-1 as that ball game at Doran Park is in the bottom of the 6th. So if that scoreline holds, but the Commodores drop tonight, that does it for Katuitt.
1-1, fouled away on a fastball back into the backstop, make it 1-2 on Nell. Nell, a Dennis native on the Cape. Went to Dennis Yarmouth Regional High School. Plays at UMass Dartmouth. And he's been there for 5 seasons, since 2017. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball and down in the dirt. Good block by Taylor Smith. Also a bit inside on Nell, and it's 2-2. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Gatemen, just efficiency so far. 2-2, fouled away up in the zone with a fastball. That goes right back into the backstop.
This Gatemen team putting up one of the better offensive performances that they've had against the Commodores this summer, especially early on in a ball game.
Count 2-2, here's the pitch. Fastball misses in, but that was one of the hardest pitches tonight for Tuthill. And now the count's full with 2 outs. Diodati leads off third as the Gatemen lead 3-0. And time is called by Tom Ryberg behind home plate. Mike Nell bats from the right side, and he steps back into the batter's box as the lefty Tuthill on the mound looks in for the signs. Gives one shake to Taylor Smith, and now comes set at the belt. 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball down and in. And now they're going to appeal down to first. A check swing from Nell, but he did not go around. So it's ball 4, and now a walk for Tuthill makes it runners at the corners with 2 away.
Tuthill tonight has had a couple of good innings, but the last couple have just been roughed up a bit, and he's only been able to get 1 out so far this inning, has allowed 3 guys to reach. Already 1 run has come across, and still a very manageable game, but this is turning a bit similar into his outing a week ago at Chatham, where he's given up a few runs and just so far doesn't have the run support behind him.
Frechette grounds the first pitch to the left side. A chopper over to the shortstop. Hartford, great play as he scoops out the short hop and throws over to first on the run. Well, he found that in his glove and was able to make the throw to stop the bleeding and end the inning. 1 run on 2 hits and 2 men left on for the Gatemen here in the inning. As we move into the 5th, it's 3-0 Wareham.
The 99 Restaurant and Pub is proud to be a sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit your local 99 and try their famous colossal lobster roll. Piled high on grilled brioche and served hot buttered or with just the right amount of mayo and celery with fries and coleslaw. The 99, always the real deal.
Go to the 5th inning here at Spillane Field. It's 3-0 Gatemen as the bottom third of the order comes up for the Falmouth Commodores with Mike Handel and Taylor Smith and Mike Bichetti against Adam Major, who's still on the mound and has retired 7 straight. As I'm now alongside Kayla Bueno, one of our fellow interns. Kayla, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So Mike Handel going to stand in from the left side. Walked his first time up. And the first pitch from Major, grounded over the right side. A long hop off the grass to Tommy Troy as he moves to his left and makes the play. Ton of quick outs on the first pitch tonight for the Commodores. Quickly one down in the top of the 5th.
Crazy to watch those happen, you know, being alongside all the road games. It's been fun to watch some great wins, but also tough to watch some tough loses.
Well, tonight it's been a lot of quick outs, at least in the last inning as well. It took 5 pitches for Troy to get through the 4th, and he already has 1 out here in the 5th. Taylor Smith stands in and is taking his time as well. Pitcher and Major that likes to work quickly. First pitch to Smith, down and in for a ball, and it's 1-0. Taylor Smith walked his first time up as well. That was in the 2nd inning when Falmouth got the bases loaded, but stranded all their runners. 1-0 pitch. Up at the letters and misses high for a ball. It's 2-0.
Pretty skies coming out here. Good baseball lighting. Nice to have some lights on the field, unlike last night, but great to play at a later time.
Here's the 2-0. Swing and a miss from Smith. Now it's 2-1, and that's one thing about the Cape. You'll get a baseball sky at any of the fields, the 5 fields that there will be a game on any night. You'll get a nice sky, nice sunset. And the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Another fastball. Smith couldn't catch up to it. Major evens the count at 2-2.
Cape sunsets are very nice to look at, but those California sunsets can't be beat.
I was
Come
going to
on.
say, that was going to be my next question for you.
Definitely. It's really nice here, but I am missing home.
2-2 breaking ball down and away. Taylor Smith works the count full.
Great to see some great athletes here, though, and some superb players, and definitely great baseball.
Here's the 3-2. Smith takes it low, and he works his 2nd walk of the night. Well, a lot of guys on this team come from different areas, some from California, some from the East Coast, but one thing that's been similar with questions you'll ask them is they say the weather in Cape Cod or on Cape Cod is very nice. We all come from different areas as well. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's one thing that the players seem to agree with, is that the weather and just the sunsets and everything is just very nice here on the Cape.
Definitely. From the area I'm from in California, the weather's kind of like this, a little more sunny, but definitely enjoying these Cape nights and Cape days when we can.
Mike Bichetti grounds the first pitch over to the shortstop Jarvis. He flips to second to Troy, and the throw over to first in time. An inning-ending 6-4-3 double play turned by the Gatemen infield. Jarvis to Troy to Nell, and that quickly ends the 5th inning as we move into the bottom of the 5th. Kayla will stay on. It's 3-0. Gatemen have the lead. move into the bottom of the 5th inning as Kate Fergus will lead things off, the 9-hitter, and then the top of the order. But Fergus hit a 2-run shot his last time up. And now it's 3-0 Gatemen. As Tuthill still on the mound, looking to get through 5 innings tonight. But again, for the 2nd straight start, doesn't have the run support behind him, despite limiting the damage as much as he can to the opponent.
That's the only hard thing about being a pitcher is when those bats are hot, you can't stop it, and it's not your fault.
First pitch to Fergus, up and away from Tuthill, and it's 1-0. And that's been the story over the last couple of days with the amount of runs Katuitt has put up against Falmouth. Not really the pitching hasn't been the problem. It's been Katuitt offensively being insane over the last couple of days, and now the count's 2-0.
Yeah, our defense is pretty solid. You know, they create the shift well, and they field their positions very well, but the only thing is those bats were hot the last couple of games, and you're seeing the same thing here tonight.
2-0. Nubbed over to the right side, past a diving Armstrong into shallow right field, and Borfin picks it up there as he'll toss it in to the second baseman, Bichetti. It's just out of Bichetti's reach as well, and it's a leadoff single for Cade Fergus. He's now 2 for 2.
Great thing about traveling to these games with you guys is that I've been meeting families, and I got to meet Borfin's grandparents, and that was awesome. They just had some really great things to say about him, and so did I, but just awesome to see the family support here. Also got to meet Braden Taylor's family. Great stories with their travels around the Cape, and just how proud they are of Taylor and his trip to Texas coming out of Utah. So awesome to meet all of them. Also got a chance to meet Jonathan French's mom, and we have Anthony Hall's dad actually with us here today.
Back to the top of the order for Gonzalez, but Tuthill will throw over to first to Fergus. But Fergus is back in safely. Well, that's the biggest thing about families coming to watch their kids. As Tres Gonzalez gets a bunt down, Tuthill fields it right towards the left of the mound, looking towards home plate, but he looks towards second, his only play is to first, and he tosses it there. So sacrifice bunt for Tres Gonzalez moves Fergus up to second with 1 away. Good thing about having the families here, at least in terms of the output that the players have had, it seems like every single player has played better when their parents and their families have been here. Cody Colden did it, went through a really hot stretch. Anthony Hall is on a tear right now with his dad here as well.
Braden Taylor also saw that hot stretch when his family was here, which was awesome. His bat was definitely hot.
So the first pitch to Jim Jarvis, a ball, now 1-0 with Fergus on second. Had the opportunity to have my parents come, but Kayla, haven't had your family out here on the other side of the country.
They are listening tonight, so give them a little shout out from California.
Shout out to the Buenos.
I have a really great support system out there. Unfortunately, the trip is across the country, but coming up on Friday, I get to see them, and I'm over the moon about that.
2-0 the count now on Jim Jarvis, who's 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Batting from the left side against the lefty Tuthill. Takes a couple looks towards second, and now deals. Crushed into the air into right field. Going back, Borfin. He's onto the warning track at the wall, and that ball is long gone. Fergus is all smiles as he crosses third base and scores.
You know, like we said about that, you can't do anything about hot bats. You know, as a pitcher, he's facing them the best he can, but when they get hot, like we saw these past couple of games, it's all defense, and when it's past the fence, you can't do anything defensive-wise.
It's the 4th home run of the year for Jim Jarvis, and it's quickly 5-0 Wareham. That was another blast off the bat. The second home run given up tonight by Tyler Tuthill. And now it's just deeper and deeper into a hole that the Commodores are unfortunately finding themselves in as the 3-hitter Tommy Troy stands in and takes a first pitch ball.
Sad to say about getting deep in a hole, but you know, yesterday we saw them work out of that, crushing the lead down to only 3.
Well, now Tommy Troy blasts one to left field. Hall trots back. He looks, and that ball flies long out of here. That bounced into the parking lot behind the seats. Back-to-back home runs for the Wareham Gatemen. It's the 4th home run of the year for Tommy Troy. And it's 6-0 Wareham in the bottom of the 5th inning.
They're liking to play past that fence tonight, and it's working in their favor, 6-0, you know. Hopefully after these few outs we get, we can come up on the plate and have the same effect. But until then, if they're just playing past the fence, there's nothing you can do defensively.
Well, this is the most dangerous hitter in their lineup. Owen Diodati now, the cleanup hitter, stands in. There's one away in the inning. And Diodati comes in to the night leading, or up at the top at least, in the most offensive categories here on the Cape as he swings through a pitch to make it 1-1. But he's tied for 4th in the league in RBIs. Now he fouls it away off the body of Taylor Smith, and it's 1-2. He's tied for 2nd coming into tonight with 7 home runs on the Cape. So Diodati probably the hardest out to get. He has a double already tonight, and the 2 guys in front of him just homered back-to-back. Tuthill ahead 0-2, and here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, down and away.
Great
Toughest out to get, he got it with 3 strikes.
Great to see that from a big batter. Shut him down finally after those 2 home runs.
It's the 2nd time tonight that Tuthill has responded to a home run with a strikeout.
That's all you can do. As a pitcher, you know, his mindset needs to just get focused, and after those strikeouts, he's probably feeling pretty hot about that.
Jack Brannigan swings at the first pitch and fouls it away beyond the first base line. So it's quickly 0-1. Brannigan's 0 for 2 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. But Tuthill has issued 2 home runs in the inning, 3 runs across for the Gatemen. And the 0-1 ripped on a line foul off the framing of that first baseline fence.
I'd love to see a corner play here with Braden Taylor across the diamond to Chris Armstrong. You know, they have good chemistry over there, and he's pretty, you know, a vacuum over there in that third base corner. So that ball was hit in the third inning pretty hard to him, and it was great to see that double play. So hopefully we get something similar.
Well, instead you'll get a 3-pitch strikeout. That's 6 straight pitches and 2 strikeouts in a row for Tuthill, responding to the 2 home runs that were hit off of him. It's now 6-0, and we're through 5 innings. Kayla, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, and just a little shout out again to my family and friends in California.
And we move into the 6th inning. It's 6-0 Wareham.
Great job.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 team. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the Wareham Gatemen, the 9 other teams, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2021 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize
The Yawkey Foundation, Curry College, Cape Cod Health Care, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod,
Badger Sport, 47 Brave, Cape Cod 5 Cent Savings Bank, Lincoln Cats, Mosquito Magazine.
Fairway Financial, Seaside Lawns, Rogers Spray,
Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Fosterville Bat, Highness Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you to Major League
6-0 Gatemen as we move into the top of the 6th inning. Matt Levine now again with David Hadar, and top of the order coming up for the Commodores. This is the time as we go through the 3rd time through the order now where they really need to start tacking on some runs. As Braden Taylor shows bunt and takes the first pitch away for a ball as he pulled it back.
Well, think back to last night at Katuitt. The Commodores found themselves behind 8-0 after just 2 innings and managed to rally back a bit and make it a 3-run deficit by the final score, 12-9. So it's doable, trailing by 6, but they're going to need to start producing runs soon.
Taylor takes for a strike, and now it's 1-1, and quickly Mazur's working. Soft grounder over to the second baseman, Troy, and an easy play as he moves 1 step to his left and comes in and charges it as well. But 1 step to his left and makes the play for the first out. Braden Taylor with a couple of groundouts tonight to Troy, and now he's 0 for 3.
And not only trailing by 6, but Falmouth has only had 4 base runners this whole ball game. 3 have come from walks and 1 via an error. Otherwise, Adam Azure has not given up a hit yet to this Falmouth team.
One of his best starts of the season, and he's had such good ones as first pitch to Hartford is fouled on a I think that's a 180-degree angle. That is probably the hardest angle to hit the ball at, but now he crushes the 0-1 into left field. The left fielder Diodati can't find it. Now he does. Traces back, and it's over his head. Rounding second, going into third is Casey Harford, and he stops there standing up. And the ball comes back into the infield. Diodati couldn't find it off the bat, and Casey Harford has a triple here with one away in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, Diodati in left field, as soon as the ball went his way, he stuck out his arms, signaling, I don't know. His team started to yell at him, back. So he started going back, but he never found it. And then you just heard it land, and that's when he finally was able to find the ball. So Casey Harford stands at third here, and here's the opportunity the Commodores may need to start coming back.
First hit of the ball game for Falmouth. 5 1/3. No-hit innings for Adam Major as the first pitch to Borfin is a ball away. Borfin's ahead 1-0 as Major goes out of the stretch. And now it's skied foul over to the left side. And that's out of play beyond the third base line rather, and it's 1-1.
Well, Falmouth is going to come back too. This is the part of the lineup they want to have up. You have Harford here on third, Borfin up now, Armstrong and Hall behind him along with Curiali. So some really capable batters.
1-1, fastball at the knees to Borfin for a called strike, and now he's behind 1-2. So 5 1/3 innings of no-hit baseball here tonight for Major, but that's not even the longest the Commodores have gone no-hit to start a game. Jonas Scalero did it for 5 2/3 with Hyannis against the Commodores back at home. And now the count moves to 2-2. Pitch misses low and away.
And albeit not a start, but how about when Falmouth last played here, going 21 up, 21 down at one point in that game back on June 28th.
2-2. Borfin grounds it to the right side. That's through into right field for a base hit. And coming into score standing up is Casey Harford. It's the first run of the ball game for Falmouth. Back-to-back hits, and it's an RBI single for Jace Borfin. It's his 36th hit of the season and his 19th RBI.
I mean, we just said it. This part of the lineup is where Falmouth is going to get back in this ball game. And sure enough, Jace Borfin does it on cue, bringing home the first run of the ball game. Just perfectly placed through the right side, past the gloves of the first and second basemen. And so he gets that into the outfield for the first run of the day for Falmouth and finally on the board.
Chris Armstrong stands in, takes the first pitch fastball up and away. So after going 5 1/3 innings without giving up a hit, Major's given up 2 straight hits, albeit Diodati couldn't find the ball, which allowed one of them on a fly ball. And the 1-0 to Armstrong. Swing and a miss at the fastball, belt high, and it's 1-1.
This Commodores team, we've said it before, especially as of late, has been known to have that timely hitting, and it's taken a little while tonight to finally find it, but Borfin able to do so, and Armstrong, who's been swinging such a good bat as of late, another guy who can continue that.
Armstrong coming into the night, 5th in the league in average at 321, tied for 2nd in homers with 7 of them, 6th in RBIs with 21, and tonight he's 0 for 2. 1-1. Popped up right towards our cage on the third base line. That's out of play. And onto the roof of the school building behind us. Bunch of kids waiting for it to come down, but I don't think they realize that roof is flat. The ball won't come down off of a flat roof.
Everyone's standing head up. They look like Owen Diodati in left field.
Now they count 1-2 on Armstrong. Batting from the left side, the switch hitter is, so the infield shifts over to the right. 1-2. He rips it the other way into left field for a base hit on one hop. Diodati able to find that one as he jumps up to stop it from going over his head on the one hop. 3 straight hits for the Commodores. Chris Armstrong with another single, and Jace Borfin moves up to second with 1 away.
Nice ball there that is hit the opposite way by Chris Armstrong. Just a soft blooper into left field. That ball didn't have too much behind it, but enough to get out of the infield and fall in front of Diodati. So Armstrong with the base hit extends his hitting streak up to 6 straight games now, and that may potentially be it for Major as the pitching coach George Caralejo is coming out now.
Armstrong's bat has been unbelievable in the 4 spot for the Commodores. He's now hit safely in 11 of his last 13. Unbelievable the way that the Florida Gator is playing, and it's coming at the beginning of games, it's coming in the middle of games, and it's coming at the end, most notably with that walk-off home run. But he's just doing it every night and in every situation that he finds himself in.
And he's a big part of the reason why Falmouth over this last couple of weeks found itself in a really tight playoff race with Katuitt and at one point Wareham too. And even in the series this past weekend, he went 3 for 4 yesterday in the game at Katuitt, and then at home on Saturday against them, he picked up 2 RBIs on just 1 hit in that game. So continuing to swing the bat and produce runs for this Falmouth team. He doesn't bring home runs here, but at least moving guys around and getting on base.
So runners on first and second, 1 away, and Anthony Hall cranks the first pitch into the left center field gap. The center fielder Fergus can't find it, and that splits the gap and goes all the way to the wall. Borfin's being waved home by Becker. He will score, and the throw comes into third base, not in time, as Armstrong dives in safely. It's an RBI double for Anthony Hall. And now it's 6-2. Falmouth with another run and 4 straight hits here in the top of the 6th inning.
Well, it took through the third time through the lineup, but after Adam Ayer hadn't allowed a single hit through the first 5 innings, he comes here in the 6th, starts off against the top of the lineup, and third time through, Commodores are seeing the ball much better. Triple from Casey Harford, singles from Jace Borfin, Chris Armstrong, and then double from Anthony Hall, and all of a sudden Falmouth even more closer in this ball game.
Well, that's going to be it for Adam Major as Caralejo comes back, and Wareham's going to go to the bullpen. But just quickly on Anthony Hall, he's now on an 11-game hitting streak with 18 hits in that span, 6 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, 8 runs, 9 RBIs now, 6 walks, and he's only struck out 5 times in that span, and 6 if you include tonight's strikeout. So we go to a pitching change for the Gatemen. It's 6-2 Wareham in the top of the 6th inning with a couple of runners in scoring position for Falmouth. Back here in the top of the 6th, Anthony Hall on second, Chris Armstrong on third, Michael Curiali the hitter with 1 away, trailing 6-2. As Carter Rustad, the new pitcher on the mound out of the University of San Diego, 6'5", 195-pound right-hander. He comes set at the out of the stretch at the belt and deals a first pitch off speed to Curiali away for a ball. Curiali tonight is 0 for 2, but 4 straight hits for the Commodores. A triple from Harford, an RBI single for Borfin, a single for Armstrong, and an RBI double for Anthony Hall. Here's the 1-0. Curiali takes up and away with a fastball, and now it's 2-0. The 6th appearance of the season for Rustad. He's 1-2 with a 7.83 earned run average and has not pitched against the Commodores up to this point. 2-0. Hard swing from Curiali as he fouls the fastball away behind home plate. Now it's 2-1.
And how about while Adam Mazur was still on the mound, able to already pick up 2 runs off of him. He's also responsible for Armstrong and Hall, who were both in scoring position. So an opportunity to get even more against him here, and a guy who'd only allowed 1 run all season coming into tonight.
2-1. Curiali lifts it into center. That's going in the right center field. The right fielder, Gonzalez, can't find it. Fergus is there all the way at the wall to make the catch. And tagging up from third and scoring is Chris Armstrong. Tagging up from second to third is Anthony Hall. Michael Curiali with a sacrifice fly to the deepest part of the yard in right center. He did his job and cuts the deficit in half. It's now 6-3.
Brings home another run, and that's what matters in this ball game. Falmouth now finds its deficit cut in half, trailing by just 3 now in a much more manageable ball game than it was at the start of this inning. So the Commodores doing their jobs here this half inning, finding those base hits and just moving guys around.
Brings up Mike Bichetti. He's 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Runner on third, 2 away. First pitch to Bichetti, a fastball outside. On the season, there's been 9 earned runs allowed for the pitcher on the mound in Carter Rustad as Bichetti fouls one away into the first base dugout. Commodores have really started to see the ball well in the inning. And the 1-1. Bichetti lays off. They'll appeal down to third to eat Tyler Bullock, but he didn't even bring the bat off of his shoulder. Made one slight motion, but it wasn't even close to a check swing, and the count moves to 2-1. Rustad now set at the belt again, out of the stretch. 2-1 pitch. Fastball upstairs. Count moves to 3-1 on Mike Bichetti. Or Mike Handel, rather. Count 3-1 on Handel with 2 away. And the pitch popped up left side. And that'll go out of play beyond the football upright that's down the third base line. So Handel tonight 0 for 1 with a walk. Anthony Hall on third base, trailing 6-3. As Rustad out of San Diego comes set. 3-2 pitch. Bichetti hits it hard on the ground, up the middle, through for a base hit. Coming in to score is Anthony Hall, and it's an RBI single with 2 outs in the inning for Mike Handel. He's got a hit in all 4 games for the Commodores this summer.
Mike Handel continues to swing the bat so well here to start with the Commodores. And like you said, Matt, and hitting every game now, but make it 5 games that he's picked up a base hit in. So an even more impressive mark here. Also is able to pick up another RBI. That's 3 straight games where he's picked up at least 1 RBI. So he now has 5 on the year, and it's all of a sudden just a 2-run game for this Falmouth team.
He's already got 8 hits and 5 RBIs and 3 runs as well. Now it's 6-4. And the first pitch to Taylor Smith, low and in for a ball. Falmouth has cut the deficit to just 2 runs here with 4 runs in this 6th inning. Taylor Smith, the 8th hitter to come up to the plate. Handel leads off first. Pickoff attempt, a hard throw over with a good hop move over there from Rustad, but Handel sees it well and dives in safely.
Only seen 1 successful pickoff attempt this summer, and that came last night in the opening inning at Katuitt when Cody Colden was picked off.
Count 1-0 to Smith. Here's the pitch. Fastball down and away. Now it's 2-0. Well, if you go back to Mike Handel's season at Fairfield, he ended the season on a 7-game hitting streak. He starts his career on the Cape with a 5-game hitting streak. So if you combine those two, 12 straight. Going back to his season at Fairfield and coming here to Falmouth. Takes a small lead off first as Rustad comes set. 2-0 pitch. Right down the middle for a strike with a fastball to Smith. And the count moves to 2-1.
And this Falmouth team added Handel to the lineup really to try and make a playoff push. And he's been a really good addition. And even though the playoff hope's still thin for this Falmouth team, he's at least continuing to get better and better every day and just continuing to switch such a good bat.
Rustad tries to pick him off at first and throws it down and away from the first baseman, Nell. Handel took second. He probably could have gotten to third, but he says he couldn't hear Brett Becker, the third base coach, telling him to get to third base. So now he stands on just second.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Matt, I think he would have had that opportunity. That's now 2 balls that have gotten away from the first baseman, Mike Nell. Already had an error earlier in the ball game on a pickoff attempt that allowed Chris Armstrong to go to third. And this one should have gotten handled to third, but instead at least moves into scoring position.
2-1 pitch to Smith. Swing and a miss down in the zone, and now it's 2-2. Well, this one, Nell couldn't pick out of the ground, but that's not a great throw from the pitcher, Rustad, over to first. So we're waiting on the score, but it will probably be an E1 that allows Handel to move into scoring position with 2 away. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming as Rustad deals. Down and away, and now it's a full count to Smith.
Yeah, the one earlier that they got an error for Nell, the first baseman, on, it was thrown right at him, but he had the sun right in his eyes, and I don't think he ever saw it. And that's how it got away. But this throw, like you said, lower and more in the dirt.
3-2 pitch to Smith, and he lays off and works his third walk of the night. Fastball missed low and away. And now runners are on first and second with 2 down. And the 9th hitter in the lineup, Bichetti, comes up as the 9th hitter in this inning for Falmouth.
It's amazing. Falmouth had nothing going for it coming into this inning, and so much success already. 4 runs across, already 5 base hits in the inning, and the deficit got down to just 2.
It's confirmed an E1 that allows Handel to move to second. The first pitch to Bichetti, he fouls away with a fastball into the top of the backstop behind home plate. And quickly behind 0-1. Bichetti has struggled so far tonight. He struck out looking in the second with the bases loaded, and then grounded into a double play that ended the 5th inning. Handel leads off second, Taylor Smith off of first, in a 6-4 ball game with a tying run on first for Falmouth in the top of the 6th inning. 0-1 pitch, and Bichetti takes it high for a ball.
Well, Bichetti, not only tonight, but to start the summer, 0 for 5 with Falmouth. So trying to pick up that first base hit of the ball game and just really even get on base for the Commodores here this summer.
1-1 pitch coming. Hard fastball right on that outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-2. Bichetti out of Eastchester, New York, Archbishop Stepanak, and plays at Fairfield. Had 2 hits and 2 runs in the Austin Regional, and played in all 4 games for the Stags, but stands at 5'8", 165 pounds. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball blown right by his bat, and that ends a really good inning. 9 hitters come to bat here in the top of the 6th for Falmouth, and they played 4 runs, and now they trail just by 2. It's 6-4 going into the bottom of the 6th inning.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod baseball team. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for over 30 years. We're honored to support the Cape Cod Baseball League and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape. Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship. Franklin is proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. This summer, all
Bottom of the 6th inning, Tyler Tuthill's day done. Levi Wells on the mound for his 10th appearance out of the bullpen to relieve Tuthill, who went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. Faced 23 hitters, and now Wells will face 6, 7, 8 in the lineup here in the bottom of the 6th. In a new ball game, though, Commodores trail by 2. It's 6-4. Cameron James stands in, 0 for 2 with an RBI tonight, and Wells deals the first pitch out of the windup, a fastball at the knees for a strike. Wells is 1-1 with a 3.85 ERA through 9 games so far. 14 innings, he's given up 12 hits, and the 0-1 misses low for a ball. It's 1-1.
Another one of these solid arms that the Commodores have out of the bullpen. Wells has pitched well for the Commodores this season. Also 23 strikeouts to 9 walks here for a guy who's transferring to Texas State for this upcoming season.
Ball down in the dirt, gets away from Smith, and Cameron James, the hitter, just caught the ball that bounced off Smith. He caught it with his left hand. The right-handed hitter did. Gave it back to the umpire, Tom Ryberg. So the count 2-1 as Wells works back into the windup. And he misses low and away with a fastball to make the count 3-1 on James.
I'll say, too, Wareham has scored in each of the last 3 innings. 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th. So if Falmouth can hold the Gatemen off the board this half inning and come back to the plate with another opportunity to cut back into the deficit, that could just continue to be a really good opportunity for this team.
Count moves to 3-2 after a foul ball directly to the right of our broadcast setup. So full count in the first batter that Levi Wells will face. As the infield shifts over just to the left a little bit. Levi Wells steps off the mound. Appeared 17 times in his freshman season at Texas Tech, but transferring to Texas State. Shakes off Smith and now deals the 3-2. Breaking ball off of the outside corner for a ball, and it's a leadoff walk for Cameron James to start off this bottom of the 6th.
Well, not the way that Wells wants to come on and start his outing with a walk on just 5 pitches to Cameron James, but still having plenty of time here to get back in the zone and start it here with Mike Nell.
Nell 0 for 1 with a walk. He walked back in the 4th inning as James leads off first. Wells set out of the stretch for the first time and deals the first pitch. Fastball low and in. Count moves to 1-0 on Nell. Nell, a Cape native out of Dennis. Paul Prue, another one out of Dennis that the Commodores have. They just added him a couple of days ago. As Wells sets himself at the belt. The 1-0 pitch. Broken bat, soft grounder over to third base side. It comes towards our way. The barrel of the bat did, but Bichetti will throw over to first base to complete the ground out. And Cameron James moves up to second. That ball was hit too slowly once the bat broke for Bichetti to turn a double play. The barrel of that bat flew directly to the right of us.
We talked about one of the times we were here, foul balls hitting some of the windows here. That bat went right off of a window in the school behind us, and it left a mark. I can't tell if the window actually cracked or not, but it left a mark nonetheless. And, I mean, fortunately that ball hit the school and didn't come down on the kids that were playing in the area around us here along the third base side.
Well, you got netting from the backstop all along the first base side. There's absolutely no netting from the backstop along the third base line until you get to the seats. But in between the dugout and home plate where the backstop is, there's no netting there. And that's exactly where that bat found its way. 1 out, runner on second now. Cameron James stands there as Frechette comes to bat and takes a ball on his first pitch, and it's 1-0. Frechette's 1 for 2 with a single and a run back in the third and a ground out in the 4th.
I'll say, too, adding on to the netting conversation, we've already had a couple of foul balls just barely make it over the fence to our right here and into the area where the kids are. So, and that may be worth investing in here at Spillane Field.
1-0 fastball from Wells for a strike. That was right at the belt, middle of the zone, and it's quickly 1-1. This bottom 2 in the lineup of Frechette and Fergus, both out of George Washington, they've caused a lot of damage tonight for the Gatemen. Counts 1-1, and here's the pitch from Wells. Another fastball down the middle, belt high for a strike, and it's 1-2. Frechette a single and a run. Fergus behind him with a 2-run homer and a single and a run in the 5th. Frechette, junior out of George Washington, native of Pennsylvania. Behind in the count 1-2. Wells deals. Breaking ball low and away, gets away from the glove of Smith. Into the backstop, moving up to third is Cameron James. And now there's a runner on third with one away in the bottom of the 6th.
Smith had to go hard to his right to try and stop that ball and just couldn't, too far out of his reach. And so likely I'm going to assume going to be a wild pitch there on Levi Wells. Again, still waiting for the official scoring on that. But the Gatemen now with another runner just 90 feet away.
Count 2-2 on Frechette. Started in 41 games for the Colonials. Batted .260 in 2021. And Wells will go out of the windup now with James on third. The 2-2 pitch. Did he tip it? They'll say he foul tipped it right off the end of his bat. A breaking ball down in the zone that he just got a piece of. And he stays alive, 2-2. He started in 41 of the possible 44 games for the Colonials. And that's the most games caught as a catcher in the entire A-10 this season. 2-2. Fastball right on the outside corner. A called strike 3 for Levi Wells. And now there's 2 down.
Big second out there for Levi Wells. Not only a strikeout, but you've got a runner at third. So he still stands there, but now you're just able to pick up this last out and you get out of the inning by leaving Cameron James at third. So big spot here for Levi Wells to get that second out and respond in the at-bat.
Here's the 9-hitter Cade Fergus. 2 outs, runner on third. Fergus is 2 for 2 with a 2-run homer and a single, couple of runs scored as well. Wells out of the windup with 2 away. First pitch. Fastball knee high for a strike. Well, with Frechette starting in 41 games, Fergus maybe wanted to one-up him a little bit at GW. He started in all 44 out in center field. Tonight has made one of the best defensive catches we've seen all summer. 0-1 fastball right on the inside corner for a strike and quickly 0-2. Fergus, a guy that gets on base a ton at George Washington. He had a 24-game on-base streak at one point this season. The 1-1. Excuse me, 0-2. Scoreboard has it wrong. I should just rely on myself, but fouls it away to make it still 0-2. In addition to that 24-game on-base streak that Fergus had, he also had a 12 multi-hit games for GW, one of their best players and their center fielder. James with a big lead at third, but the 0-2 pitch. Fastball up in the zone, swing and a miss. And Fergus is retired for the first time tonight. So Wells walks the leadoff man. He gets all the way to third, but the Gatemen strand him there with Levi Wells striking out a couple as we move into the 7th inning. It's 6-4 Gatemen here at Spillane Field.
Curry College is where you go to become anything you want to be. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers in pro and beyond sports. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education and graduate studies, including 5th-year master's programs at www.curry.edu.
Braden Taylor will lead things off for the Commodores here in the top of the 7th. A 6-4 lead for the Wareham Gatemen here at Spillane Field. Taylor, Harford, and Borfin set to come up this half inning for the visiting Commodores as Carter Rustad still on the mound for Wareham. And the first pitch from the tall right-hander comes home, a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate for a called strike on Braden Taylor. Taylor tonight 0 for 3 with a strikeout and a couple of groundouts in this ball game. One of the only Commodores to not reach base tonight as the 0-1 from Rustad, another breaking ball, and another called strike by the home plate umpire in Tom Ryberg. The only Commodores tonight to not reach are Taylor, Curiali, and Bacchetti. Otherwise, the other 6 hitters have been on at least once. Here's the 0-2 from Rustad, and Taylor swings through it for the third strike of this at-bat. So a quick 3 pitches from Carter Rustad, and that's our first out of the inning. So 1 gone now for Casey Harford, who picked up a triple in his last at-bat, a ball that he hit to Owen Diodati in left field, and Diodati never picked it up. And so Harford hustled around the base paths for the 3-bagger as the first pitch from Carter Rustad outside for ball 1 here on the shortstop. Outside of that, Harford tonight with a ground out and a strikeout as well to his name for the shortstop out of the University of Tennessee, Martin. Here's the 1-0 now from Rustad, and this one comes in low. Now 2-0 here on Harford. Jace Borfin stands on deck behind him, and then Chris Armstrong in the hole. This Falmouth team brought across 4 runs back in the 6th inning to cut back in this deficit as the 2-0 now from Rustad comes home, and Harford swings through it for strike 1. All of the games that these 2 teams have played this summer have been really close games. There's already been 1 tie. That was the last time these 2 teams faced off here. But the average margin in the 3 games played so far has been 2 runs. And tonight it sits at 2 runs again as the 2-1, a check swing from Harford. They're going to say he went around. And now it's 2-2 here on the shortstop. And here comes the 2-2 from Rustad. And it's grounded foul down the third base side. Really sharp angle that went in the direction of the Commodores dugout. Everybody okay, though, just below us, and the count remains 2-2. But despite those 2 runs, the average for all 3 of the games played so far, Falmouth sporting a 2-0-1 record against this team as the 2-2 comes in, and that's a called strike from Tom Ryberg. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Carter Rustad to start the 7th inning, and quickly 2 away. Here as Jace Borfin steps up to the plate. I gotta say, that's one thing that's been real entertaining all season long has been Falmouth hasn't been involved, whether it's them winning or losing. The Commodores haven't been involved in too many blowouts, and that's made not only our job more fun to call, but it's also just made games more exciting for everyone involved.
That's what's good about the Cape. Not too many blowouts around the league.
Jace Borfin takes ball 1.
The talent is, I would say, close to equal on most of the teams in the league every summer.
Here's the 1-0 now from Rustad as he comes home, and Borfin swings through it. And there's strike 1 of the at-bat. Count now 1-1 here on Borfin. Scoreboard again showing 0-2. But I believe the first pitch was called a ball on Borfin. But see what happens here is Rustad comes home. And this one comes down and in, and the count now 1-2, I should say, though. So the first pitch was called a strike on Borfin. A late call must have been from the home plate umpire. But 1-2 sits the count here on Jace Borfin. And Rustad deals home the pitch. Another breaking ball, and this one again misses low and in. And the count goes to 2-2. Rustad with a deep breath, and not as quick of a pitcher as Major was, but still quick nonetheless, as this one has popped up to the third base side, and it's going to land on the school behind us as the count remains 2-2. Kids again waiting for this one to come down, but they're just going to keep waiting. Their necks are going to get tired as they stand over there. That ball is not coming down. As the 2-2 now from Rustad dealt home. Borfin puts it in play over to the right side. Coming over to his left is Tommy Troy, who fields the ground ball and throws over to first in time for the 3rd out. So the Commodores go down in order 1, 2, 3 for the third time tonight. Check that fourth time tonight. And we'll go to the bottom of the seventh as it's time to stretch here from Spillane Field. We go to the bottom of the seventh here from Spillane Field, and Wareham set to bring up 1-2-3 with Levi Wells still on the mound for the Commodores going into his second inning of the night. And leading things off will be Tres Gonzalez, who takes ball one from the Texas State pitcher. Gonzalez tonight 0 for 2, had a sac bunt in his last at-bat in the fifth. And that was the last inning that the Gatemen brought across runs, as this one is popped up to the left side and again will land on the school here behind us in Wareham as the count goes to 1-1 on Gonzalez. Matt, all night there have been kids behind us playing wall ball against this school, and earlier I was talking to one of our interns, Ryan Prince, who's been a feature on the air, but I'm curious if you played wall ball at all growing up, as Levi Wells comes home with the 1-1 and the count now 2-1.
That was the biggest game at our recess growing up. And what's funny about that is if someone, I don't know what you guys called it, if someone threw it on the roof of the school, we call it roofed. They roofed the ball, and we'd chase that person around, whoever it was. I did it sometimes, but if you put the ball on the roof, you got chased around by all your buddies at recess.
2-1 from Wells, misses. Check that. It's going to be on the inside part of the plate, so count now 2-2 after a called strike from Tom Ryberg. But that was, I feel like, one of the best games of our childhood. And I haven't played it in years, but seeing these kids play it brings back such great memories.
That was the best. That was the best part of elementary school.
Here's the 2-2 from Levi Wells. Started to go around at Tres Gonzalez, but he ends up laying off, and ball that was really close to being a strike. The Commodores dugout wanted it, but count goes full here on the leadoff man. So we've seen some roofed balls from these bats tonight, foul balls that have landed on top of the school, and the 3-2 misses low and in. And so a leadoff walk allowed by Levi Wells for the second straight inning, and Tres Gonzalez is on first. Gonzalez on for the first time tonight, and that'll bring up Jim Jarvis, who hit a 2-run home run in his last at-bat in the fifth. Part of a back-to-back stretch for the Gatemen where Jarvis and Tommy Troy went yard. And Troy stands on deck for the Gatemen. As Jarvis digs in from the left side, Levi Wells comes set, and a hard throw over to first. It ends up going off the spike of Tres Gonzalez. And so the ball went back in the direction of the mound, and there's no advancement of the base runner. And before anything else can continue, they're going to take that ball out of commission and give Levi Wells a new ball. I think that ball landed right on the spike of Gonzalez.
Imagine if it got stuck. That'd be something. That'd be like darts.
That would be quite the sight. I don't think you could, in a million tries, make that actually happen. And then the one time there, it would. But nonetheless, just bounces back onto the field as Jarvis now will watch the first pitch of the at-bat come low and in, and it gets away from Taylor Smith. And so going down to second is Tres Gonzalez, takes a turn around and thinks about third, but he'll end up holding up there as he moves into scoring position on a wild pitch from Levi Wells. So count sits at 1-0 here on Jim Jarvis out of the University of Alabama, playing in his 35th game tonight for Wareham. As Wells looks in for the sign from Taylor Smith, now has it, holds the ball belt high, and the 1-0 comes home, shows bunt late. Perfect bunt down the third base line. Taylor comes in and is going to have no throw down to first, as advancing to third is Tres Gonzalez. And so the Gatemen now with runners on the corners on one of the best bunted balls we've seen all summer.
It's the second time tonight that either one of the two hitters in the top of the order has attempted a bunt. Gonzalez had a sac bunt, but that was a really good bunt when he had it, and Jarvis put this one perfectly down the third base side, and there's grass that touches the foul line. So it's not dirt that it can bounce off of and go foul. It's just grass that it's going to stop and sit there in fair territory, and that's exactly where it stopped.
No outs still here in the inning as Wareham has runners on the corners, and Tommy Troy takes ball one outside from Levi Wells. Some action starting to brew in the Commodores bullpen beyond the left field wall. Nobody actively throwing yet, but some guys starting to stand up as the 1-0 comes low and in. And now 2-0 here is a good stop from Taylor Smith, prevents any further damage on the base paths. Wareham on top 6-4 here in the bottom of the seventh. A game that if the Commodores lose will end up eliminating them from the playoffs, as the 2-0 is cut on and miss, and now 2-1 here on Tommy Troy. And Falmouth, this is a game they do need to win. Bourne currently on top of Katuitt 13-1 in the top of the ninth. So that offense that the Kettleers had the last few games goes quiet tonight. And Falmouth needs 6 results to go its way over these next 3 days. 3 of them in their favor, 3 of them against the Kettleers. And one's going to start to go their way, but they need tonight as the 2-1 misses low and in. Now 3-1 here on Tommy Troy. And in danger of another walk this half inning from Levi Wells. Wells comes set, and the 3-1 now from the right-hander is put in play over to the left side. A high chopper that Casey Harford field throw over to first in time to get the out there. A run does score for Wareham as Tres Gonzalez comes home from third. Advancing to second is Jim Jarvis, but there's now 1 gone in the inning.
That's a really good play for Casey Harford to make. It's a tough hop it's a tough skip, I should say, off the gravel-like dirt that it took on him, but he had his hands in the right spot, and he fielded it in the perfect spot where he didn't really have to move much from his glove to his hand to get back and throw. He fielded it kind of on his right side where he's able to just bring his arm right back and throw it. So that helped get him out by a little bit more than he could have.
That'll bring up Owen Diodati, who swings through strike one and fouls it into the backstop. And we've seen a couple times tonight some really good hitting like that. Cameron James, when he was up in the 4th inning, had the exact same play, a high chopper to Casey Harford at short, and ended up scoring a run on that base hit. So the Gatemen with a couple of well-hit balls here and just creating, call it productive outs, as right as Wells was about to come home with the 0-1, time called by Diodati after Wells had a couple looks back towards second in Jim Jarvis. Tonight, some of the best baseball that the Gatemen have played against Falmouth this season. Already 7 runs across for this team tonight. As the 0-1 now from Wells comes home, and it ends up catching Diodati right on his heel. Jumps around a couple times in pain before throwing the bat over towards the dugout. And so again here, Wareham with runners on the corners.
That hit him right in the heel. That is painful because you have to stand on your heel all the time, and when a ball hits it right there, you just kind of got to walk it. It almost feels like a foot cramp sometimes, and that's the worst pain. So Diodati's just kind of bouncing up and down at first while he leads, and he's hoping that goes away quickly.
And just a mistake with what I said. Runners on first and second here as the 5-hitter Jack Brannigan will come up and watch ball one come in on him. Wells this half inning has allowed a walk, a single, and a hit by pitch, and already one run across for the Gatemen here in the bottom of the 7th, leading the Commodores 7-4 here in a must-win game for Falmouth. Here's the 1-0. This one way outside, and now 2-0 here on Jack Brannigan. Brannigan tonight 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. And in the middle of this at-bat and with a 2-0 count, we're going to see Mike Landry make his first appearance out of the dugout this evening, as he's going to go alongside Taylor Smith to go talk with Levi Wells. Again, somebody up now in the Commodores bullpen. Can't see from our vantage point who it is out beyond the left field wall, but there is an arm up, and this has been one of the rougher outings from Wells this summer.
Only 1 run so far across. If he can get a ground ball here, he's out of it with a double play. Commodores have already turned 1 double play tonight. That was to end the first inning. That was their 14th double play turn on the ground this summer. So they've done it when they've had the opportunities to turn it. It's just Wells, if he's able to get that ground ball here off of Brannigan, who's 0 for 3 tonight with 3 strikeouts, or if he can go out there and strike out Brannigan, that's getting 2 outs now, and then it forces anywhere. So he's just got to go out here, attack Brannigan, forget about the runners on base, and really the 2 best opportunities would be to get a ground ball in the infield or get a strikeout.
So Taylor Smith goes back behind the dish. Mike Landry back to the dugout. And the count sits at 2-0 here on Jack Brannigan with runners on first and second and 1 gone here in the bottom of the 7th. As Wells comes set, and the 2-0 is dealt home low. And now 3-0 here on Jack Brannigan, who hasn't reached once tonight. 3 strikeouts like we were saying a moment ago. But ahead here in the count. Wells comes set. Looks towards home, no look towards the base paths, and comes home with the 3-0. And there's the first strike of this at-bat. It's right in at the belt. And the count goes to 3-1 here on Brannigan. Already 1 run across in the inning for Wareham. 2 guys aboard. Gatemen have scored in 4 of the 7 innings so far tonight. As the 3-1 now from Wells comes home upstairs. And the bases are now loaded off the second walk of the inning from Levi Wells. So Brannigan is on for the first time tonight. And he stands at first with Owen Diodati now at second and Jim Jarvis at third. And here's the 6-hitter Cameron James, who already has 1 RBI in this ballgame. Still looking for that first base hit, though, as the first pitch of the at-bat is fouled into the backstop. And that's strike 1 on Cameron James. James out of Mississippi State, playing in his 18th game with Wareham tonight, coming into the ball game, hitting just 161 on the summer, 9 for 56 at the plate. Wells shakes off a couple of signs from Taylor Smith, and now time's going to be called as the 2 of them end up not getting on the same page there.
Commodores bringing in their corners to play defense. Braden Taylor right at the edge of that grass at third. Armstrong in the grass at first with the middle back.
0-1, cut on and miss, and now Levi Wells ahead in the count 0-2 on Cameron James.
If you get a ground ball to the corners, you can either step on the bag, or if you're Braden Taylor, throw it home first. And then the ground ball up the middle would be to turn the double play at second and then throw to first.
All sorts of options here for the Commodores to try and draw up the second and third out of the inning. As Wells now with the 0-2 comes home with it to Cameron James. It's outside, and that's ball 1. Taylor Smith happy with the location there from his right-handed pitcher. As that's the first ball of the at-bat here. James now with a 1-2 count. Wells shakes off a sign, shakes off another one, and now has it as he looks in at Taylor Smith. Holds his glove out front, and now the 1-2 from the Texas State pitcher, fouled off behind home plate, and it'll find some of the cars parked here at Spillane Field as the count remains 1-2 here on Cameron James. James tonight lined out to Mike Bacchetti in the 2nd, then grounded out in the 5th, or check that in the 4th, but picked up an RBI and then walked in the 6th. Here's the 1-2 now from Levi Wells. He comes home with it. And cut on and miss here. Big strikeout and a big second out for Levi Wells, who picks up his third strikeout of the night. And there's now 2 gone in the bottom of the 7th.
That's big for Wells because now any ball put in play that is recorded as an out would end the inning, and he'd strand the bases loaded against him, which would be massive to keep the Commodores within this game, trailing by 3.
Mike Nell, the man due up, but a pinch hitter going to come on here for Wareham. Stepping up to the plate is Kellum Clark out of Mississippi State. Just finished up his freshman year down in Starkville and has played now in 20 games for the Gatemen this summer, hitting .207 at the plate. So he's going to come in here in place of Mike Nell, the first baseman for Wareham tonight, and he swings through the first pitch from Levi Wells to fall behind 0-1 in the count. Clark is 12 for 58 at the plate with 3 doubles and 3 RBIs on the summer so far. Last night going 1 for 4 in the win at Bourne. Here's the 0-1, comes upstairs just above the letters, and the count now 1-1 here on Kellum Clark. So Mike Nell's day is done after going 0 for 2 with a walk in just his second game for Wareham this summer. As the bases are loaded here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the 1-1 now from Levi Wells, and Clark swings through it, and Wells is back ahead with a 1-2 count. Jarvis stands at third, Diodati stands at second, and Jack Brannigan stands at first. Here in a 1-2 count with 2 gone in the bottom of the 7th, and already 1 run across for Wareham in a 7-4 ball game. Here's the 1-2 now from the right-hander Wells as he comes home with it. A check swing. They're going to appeal down and say he went around. That's going to end the inning as Kellum Clark goes down swinging. Levi Wells able to pick up back-to-back Ks, and he strands the bases loaded here with only 1 run coming across in the bottom of the 7th. Big spot there for the Texas State pitcher, and he's able to get out of the jam. We go to the 8th in a 7-4 ball game from Spillane Field. Move to the 8th, and the Commodores back up to bat with Chris Armstrong leading things off. Anthony Hall and Michael Curiali set to come up behind him here in a 7-4 ball game for the Wareham Gatemen on top of the Falmouth Commodores for our final road game of this 2021 season. The Commodores end up dropping tonight's game. That'll end the team's playoff hopes as Armstrong digs in to start off this inning. Carter Rustad still on the mound, and the first pitch is low for ball 1 here on Chris Armstrong, and we're happy to have back on the broadcast for what feels like the first time in a little while, our Tommy Muma for another edition of Tommy's Thoughts. Here's the 1-0 from Rustad, and it's just outside now, 2-0 on Armstrong.
Thanks for having me on, Dave. Great to be back. Like you said, it's been a little while. I think maybe Hyannis on Friday was the last time.
That is the last time we did it. As the 2-0 now comes high and away, 3-0 here on Chris Armstrong, but anything on your mind tonight?
Well, big spot right here, like you said, 7-4. The Commodores are down, and nobody that you'd rather have up than Chris Armstrong.
Here's the 3-0. And this one misses low, so a 4-pitch walk for Chris Armstrong, who's aboard for the third time this evening. And he trots down to first, getting on as the leadoff man.
Got Anthony Hall coming up, had a big night the other night in Katuitt, and then he's got a double tonight. He's so consistent, David. We see it night after night. He comes through with the big hits, and we'll see what he can do here.
Man who swings one of the hardest bats on this team. He's 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI double back in the 6th. And he digs in here with the Commodores trailing by 3, and Chris Armstrong at first as Carter Rustad brings home the first pitch, a breaking ball that falls in at the belt for a called strike on Hall. That double back in the 6th extended Hall's hitting streak now out to 11 games. And he just continues to be so productive at the plate for this Falmouth team. As the 0-1 misses low and in, now 1-1 here on Hall.
I believe Hall's homered in back-to-back games as well, so we'll see if he can extend it here.
I don't know what the longest stretch the Commodore this summer has gone with consecutive home runs in a game, but I think 2 is the longest at that. As the 1-1 hit high in the air into right field. Tres Gonzalez over to his left. He's going to take a couple steps back, and he gets under it for the first out of this 8th inning. So he hit that one high, but just not far enough.
That's true, and I think actually I was wrong about that. I think he homered Friday and Saturday, and then it ended yesterday, but he came through with a couple big hits.
One gone here for Michael Curiali, who hit a sac fly in his last at-bat in the 6th and ended up scoring Chris Armstrong on that sac fly. Comes up here with 1 gone in the inning, and Chris Armstrong still on first as Rustad comes set and comes home, and the first pitch foul down the third base side. Really nice stop made by Brett Becker, the third base coach for the Commodores, and that's strike 1.
Michael Curiali, another guy that we've seen start to turn around here in recent days, had a couple of hits last night and homered off of the scoreboard there in Katuitt. So nice to see him get going as well.
Curiali 9 for his last 20 at the plate over the last couple of games that he's played in. As the 0-1 from Rustad, and Curiali swings through it, and he's now behind 0-2. Anything else piquing your interest tonight?
Well, it's a big night, like you said. If they lose the Commodores, that is their playoff hopes end. So big spot right here, only down by 3 in the 8th with a runner on.
Rustad takes a deep breath. And the 0-2 now from the reliever is upstairs, but Curiali swings through it, and he goes down on 3 pitches as he's set down via the strikeout for the second time in this ballgame, and there's now 2 gone here in the top of the 8th.
Now we got Mike Handel coming up, who's been outstanding, like you said earlier in the broadcast. He's just come through with so many big hits and, got the first hit tonight, I believe. And, yeah, big night for him and RBI single back in the 6th, so we'll see what he can do here.
Handel 1 for 2 tonight with that RBI like Tommy just mentioned. And the first pitch he sees, he fouls over right towards the coaching staff of the Gatemen, who make a nice play at it to stop that ball. Count now 0-1 here on Mike Handel. That RBI he picked up in his last at-bat in the 6th. Ended up scoring Anthony Hall, and that was the last run to come around for the Commodores here in this ballgame. 4 runs that Falmouth plated back in the 6th. The 0-1 in at the knees for a called strike, and now it's 0-2 here on Mike Handel. So Chris Armstrong standing on first, in danger of getting stranded there after starting the inning off with a walk. Second walk tonight allowed by Carter Rustad, and the 0-2 comes in right at the knees again. And going down on 3 pitches is Carter Rustad, or on 3 pitches is Mike Handel, and Carter Rustad able to end that inning with 6 straight strikes that he threw and a couple of strikeouts to end the top of the 8th. We'll go to the bottom half of the inning with Wareham still on top by a score of 7-4 here from Spillane Field. Levi Wells still on the mound for the Commodores as he works into his third inning of the night here in a 7-4 ball game with the Gatemen on top of the Commodores from Spillane Field. David Adar and Tommy Mumah still on the air with us here this half inning as Wareham will bring up 8, 9, and 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Anthony Frechette will lead things off. He's 1 for 3 tonight with a single in his first at-bat back in the third. And he'll dig in from the right side here against the righty Levi Wells, who's given up 1 run so far in the 2 innings out of the bullpen. And he comes home with the first pitch at the belt for a called strike here on Frechette. So, Tommy, I know it's your segment, it's Tommy's thoughts, but I'm going to jut in and ask you.
Sounds good.
We've now, tonight is the 34th game of the season for the Commodores. We've had 3 here at Spillane Field, and we've had several at every ballpark in the league as the 0-1 comes in. This one just outside now, 1-1 here on Frechette. But what's been your favorite game of the summer so far, if you had to think?
That's a good question. There's quite a few that come to mind. Let's see here.
I know mine, as the 1-1 misses low and away. Now 2-1 here. They appealed on to first, but they say he did not go around. So 2-1 on Frechette.
If I had to pick one, it would probably be the one last Sunday night, Chris Armstrong's walk-off home run. That was an incredible moment. Extended the Commodores' winning streak to 4 games, so that's got to be it, I think.
2-1 from Levi Wells, and it's cut on and missed. Frechette now even in the count 2-2. You took the words out of my mouth. That was my favorite game of the summer, too. A back-and-forth game against Chatham. Ended in a walk-off home run from Chris Armstrong, who led off the inning. And, I mean, that was the only walk-off we saw this summer up to this point. But it was just so exciting. As the 2-2 from Wells, breaking ball that stays a bit high and count goes full.
For sure, and while it was a really tough loss, another one that comes to mind is that walk-off against Bourne, at Bourne, 9-8. I think that's one of the better games that we've seen overall. The Commodores battled back, but unfortunately ended in a loss.
Here's the full count pitch, and this one misses inside, so a leadoff walk. Nope, check that. They're going to say a delayed call from Tom Ryberg, but he says that Frechette goes down looking. A ball that was on the inside part of the plate, but Levi Wells now with 3 straight strikeouts dating back to the 7th inning, and there's 1 gone here for the 9-hitter, Cade Fergus. So on top of that, and I've asked Matt this at some of the ballparks we've gone to this summer, what was your favorite ballpark that we played out outside of Gov Fuller Field? As the first pitch to Cade Fergus comes home, shows bunt but pulls it back on a pitch up high for ball 1.
That's another one where there's a couple that come to mind, but I'd have to say Chatham. I just think that the atmosphere has been great every time we've been there. Only been there a couple times. Wish we could go more there out to the east, but that comes to mind, and Orleans has been great.
1-0, fouled into the backstop, now 1-1 here on Fergus. I was bummed we only ended up getting 1 game at Orleans. We were supposed to have 2, but the first one, which was the last cancellation that the Commodores had, was canceled due to unplayable field conditions, and so only ended up getting 1 game out at Orleans this summer, as the 1-1 is on the outside corner of the plate for a called strike, now 1-2 here on Cade Fergus.
I'm with you there. I wish we could have gone back more, but another one that I like too is Harwich. We only went there once, and that was really nice as well.
Here's the 1-2 from Levi Wells, and cut on and miss. Back-to-back strikeouts this half inning for Levi Wells, and he now has 4 straight strikeouts going back to the 7th inning. 2 gone here as we go back to the top of the lineup for Tres Gonzalez. But so what I'm hearing is you have a bit of a soft spot for the Eastern Division ballparks.
I do. I think they've all been great, and we have some great ones here in the West too. I think that Bourne's another really cool one. I think they all have like something special about them.
First pitch to Tres Gonzalez is on the outside corner of the plate for a called strike. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think each one brings its own little charm to the games, whether it be our broadcast location, the fan support and atmosphere, the actual field, whatever it is, everything has something going for it.
Even here in Wareham, we got the goalpost. I know you were talking about that earlier, but this ballpark definitely has some character to it.
Here's the 0-1. This one misses high and away, now 1-1 here on Tres Gonzalez. And just incredible that tonight is our 18th road game of the summer, our 34th game overall, and that it has just flown by this quickly. It feels like yesterday that it was June 21st and we were having our first road game of the year, as this one is chopped over to Chris Armstrong at first, and he's able to field it and take it to the bag for himself for the third out of this inning. So Levi Wells able to drop a 1-2-3 inning here in the 8th, and we go to the 9th. It's do or die for this Falmouth team, needing 3 runs to tie and 4 to jump ahead of the Gatemen. We'll see if they can do it when we come back from Spillane Field. Carter Rustad takes the mound here in the 9th, looking to close things out as he comes on for his 4th inning, or 3rd full inning, but 4th inning that he's on the mound for this Wareham team, as he'll face off against Taylor Smith, Mike Bichetti, and Braden Taylor. Here in the top of the 9th, Falmouth trailing 7-4 and needing 3 runs to tie and 4 to jump ahead of this Wareham team and avoid its first loss of the year against the Gatemen. As the first pitch to Taylor Smith, he swings through for strike 1. Smith tonight with 3 walks in the ball game in all 3 of his at-bats up to this point. He's behind, though, in the count here, 0-1. And the pitch now from the righty, Rustad, comes home, and it's in at the belt for a called strike, now 0-2 here on Taylor Smith. Falmouth with 4 runs in the 6th, but outside of that, the offense has really been few and far between for this team tonight. That was the only inning where the Commodores were able to pick up base hits in this ballgame, as the 0-2 comes above the letters, now 1-2. Only inning where the Commodores could pick up base hits, and they had 5 that inning. Outside of that, they've had just a handful of base runners through the other innings that have been played tonight. Here's the 1-2 now from Rustad, and Smith able to stay alive as he fouls it off just behind him to keep the count at 1-2. How about, though, Matt, tonight? 4 1-2-3 innings that the Gatemen pitchers have worked, and the last time the Commodores played here had 6 1-2-3 innings in a game where at one point they went up 21 up, 21 down, as the 1-2 misses high and away, now 2-2.
I think the craziest part about tonight is that 3 of the 1-2-3 innings have been Taylor, Harford, and Borfin in order. The 1, 2, and 3 hitters in the lineup tonight. We've rarely seen that this summer.
2-2, and Smith just able to get a piece of it to stay alive. Count remains 2-2. I mean, those are some of the best hitters that the Commodores have, and there's plenty more behind them, but the fact that this pitching staff has been able to draw up outs against them is just so impressive.
And don't get me wrong, Harford is a triple and a run, and Borfin with an RBI single and a run, so they haven't been out every time, but they've been out in order, which is the weirdest part.
2-2 pitch down in the dirt. Smith started to go around but held his bat back, and so the count goes full here on Taylor Smith. Commodores trailing by 3 here in the top of the 9th in the final road game of this summer season, and trying to avoid not only the first loss of the year to the Wareham Gatemen, but also being eliminated from the 21 playoffs. A loss tonight would do in the Commodores and its playoff hopes. Here comes the payoff pitch from Carter Rustad, and it's fouled over down the third base side and past Brett Becker, the third base coach, off the bat of Taylor Smith, and he continues to stay alive, putting together a good at-bat to lead off this inning. Bichetti on deck behind him. Actually, check that. Cody Colden standing in the on-deck circle for the Commodores behind him. So we'll see Colden come in as a pinch hitter for Falmouth after Taylor Smith. And the 3-2 is low, but Smith swings through it for the first out of this inning and another strikeout for Carter Rustad.
Smith put together a good at-bat, but that last pitch probably should have laid off of it. But with 2 strikes, it's so tough mentally. Do you protect the plate? Do you lay off? You don't want to go down looking, but he swung and it was a little bit low, and he went down swinging instead.
So we'll see Cody Colden dig in now for his first at-bat of the night, coming in as a pinch hitter for this Falmouth team. Here down to 2 outs remaining here in the top of the 9th. And Colden out of Washington State, bat from the right side for this Falmouth team. He's pinch hitting for Mike Bichetti. First pitch from the right-hander, and Rustad is fouled off and hit behind home plate for strike 1. Colden this season hitting 170 in his now 30 games played for Falmouth. 18 for 106 at the plate with 3 doubles and 2 home runs on the season. Here's the 0-1 from Rustad. It comes inside, and the count goes to 1-1 on Cody Colden. And after Colden, we'll have Braden Taylor, who stands on deck for the Commodores here on the top of the 9th. Game has moved really quickly throughout. We're just about 2.5 hours in as the 1-1 from Rustad is chopped down the third baseline, fair to Cameron James. Long throw for the third baseman, but he beats Cody Colden by a step and a half. And there's now 2 gone as the Commodores are down to their final out. So Taylor comes up here as the last out remaining for this Falmouth team. Taylor tonight 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and 2 groundouts in the ball game. And Carter Rustad, his pitch about as good as this team could have hoped for out of the bullpen, as the first pitch to Taylor is in at the belt for a called strike on the TCU hitter. Rustad's longest outing of the summer, 3 1/3 innings coming into tonight, and he has topped that so far tonight, going already 3 1/3 innings and just needing 1 more out to get 3 2/3. Here's the count sits at 1-1 on Braden Taylor. Now the 1-1 pitch, and Taylor swings through it, ends up hitting off of one of the shin guards on Anthony Frichette's leg and back out onto the field. But Commodores down here now to the last strike with the last out of the ball game. Taylor takes a long look at his bat before taking a couple taps of home plate. Carter Rustad has his sign. The 1-2 from the righty comes home inside on Taylor as he gets his waist out of the way from that ball. And the count now 2-2 here on the TCU hitter. Falmouth with just 5 base runners outside of the 6th inning tonight. As the 2-2, Taylor puts it in play to the right side, and it's through the gap of the right side of the infield for a base hit. Braden Taylor reaches for the first time tonight, and he keeps the Commodores alive here in the top of the 9th with a really well-placed single through the right side, and that brings up Casey Harford.
Taylor now with a hit in all 3 games since coming back to the team, and he was the last out of the game last night. With as the tying run at the plate, he flied out to left field, and he put a good charge into it, just hit it the other way, so it didn't have enough power to leave the yard. Tonight, he doesn't want to be the last out. I think that was probably in the back of his mind, and so he keeps the game alive.
So he stands on first now. The Commodores need some more guys on as Casey Harford digs in now. And the first pitch from Rustad, Harford a check swing, and he went around, says the home plate umpire, Tom Ryberg. So that's strike 1 from Rustad. Harford tonight 1 for 4. That one hit, a triple back in the 6th. and came around to score the first run of the ball game for Falmouth. Here's the 0-1 now from Rustad. Chop fouled on the third baseline, and Harford is behind in the count 0-2, as once again here, Falmouth down to its final strike of the ball game. Commodores will be back at home tomorrow night to take on the Gatemen on the back end of a home and home. And then they'll close out the regular season against Bourne on Wednesday. Both those games getting underway at 6 o'clock at the Gov. Here's the 0-2. And it's on the outside corner for a called third strike. And that does it as Wareham picks up its first win of the season against Falmouth. And the Commodores officially eliminated from the 2021 playoffs as the Gatemen win it tonight by a final of 7-4 here at Spillane Field.
Wareham had the timely hitting tonight, put up 7 runs. Another good offensive performance by an opponent for that the Commodores faced. Commodores had one good inning, and that was it offensively. Just didn't do enough tonight, and over the next couple of days, we'll just enjoy the time that they have left together.
So 2 games remaining for this Falmouth team, but tonight only able to draw up runs in the 6th inning when they brought 4 across, and outside of that, it was really few and far between for this Falmouth team as Commodores finished the ballgame with 4 runs on 5 hits to the 7 runs on 8 hits that the Gatemen brought across. And Matt, you just said it, at this point in the summer, the team now officially eliminated from the playoffs. You try and enjoy these last couple of games for this team, but no doubt they now, with the loss tonight, are on a 3-game losing skid. No doubt this team wants to try and end the summer on as much of a high note as it can.
Yeah, just go out the next couple of days and try to play your best baseball. Can play loose as well, because you're playing to just impress everybody else and play for yourself, play for each other. And the most important thing is that they play together over the next couple of days. Time and time again, we've seen just separate guys playing hard, some guys just struggling, just different things going on throughout the summer. But I think over the next couple of days, just really playing as a complete team is the mindset. And you just enjoy the next couple of days, because this is one of the best experiences for each and every kid on this team. And it's just so devastating that they won't have the extra games in the postseason to continue their journey. And some teams, their goal is their first goal isn't to win, it's more to develop players and things like that so that they can get to the next level in their career, and that's understandable. But still, at the end of the day, losing always hurts. So can't imagine the feeling now that they know they won't have those extra games, but you got to just go into tomorrow and Wednesday and hope you end the season on a high note.
Well, we'll see how the Commodores are able to respond with these last 2 games remaining on the season, but Falmouth gets to close it out with 2 games at home on the regular season. That'll do things tonight here from Spillane Field. For my broadcast partner, Matt Levine, for our guests, and Kayla Bueno and Tommy Muma, and our entire crew here at Spillane Field and back in Falmouth, David Adar signing off for the final time on the road in this 2021 season as Wareham takes it 7-4 from the Commodores. We'll be back at home tomorrow night against these Gatemen once again for a 6 o'clock first pitch from the Gov. Hope to see you there, but until then, have a great night, everybody, and we'll catch you tomorrow night in Falmouth.